Okay, there we go. Hmm. Okay, welcome in. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I certainly did. Thank you, Pseudo. Appreciate you. Hope you had a good weekend. And hey, it's good to see you again. So, what's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true? So, let's start with that question. God's Spirit. How do we know what God's Spirit is? Hey, Pikachu. Hey. Hey, Ember. Hello. How is it, my friends? I see you. So, we're looking for people who have evidence that the Bible is 100% true. So, if you are a Christian, request up and let's talk about it. Maybe you can convince me it is. When you're taking your last breaths and you have all, how do we know that's true though? What's the evidence of that? So let's not start with the threats. So we just go straight to threats. So no evidence then? Is that what we're saying? Pseudo paid you to be here? Well, Pseudo paid me to be here too. So we're in this together, Jonesy. Resist. I'll be back. Yeah, this isn't, it's not even evil enough. So we need more evil here. Oh shit. I wasn't supposed to tell either. Pseudo told me not to get. I'm probably Pseudo's gonna put belt to ass on me later. Oh boy. I'm in trouble. So well, hey everybody. I hope people had a good weekend. I know I've said that multiple times, but I sincerely mean it. I really hope people had a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend myself. There you are. So yeah. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. Hey, Elizabeth, it's good to see you. So let's go with evidence that the Bible is 100% true. Hey, unconditional love. So if you're in the guest queue, please be at least 18 and a believer in the Bible and have evidence that the Bible is 100% true. So let's start with there. All right. Yes, I have read it many times. Oh, should we invite our first guest up? Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what the first guest has to say. Smell a crash out coming. How's it going? How you doing?
Hello?
Yeah. So, are you at least 18?
I can't prove the Bible because you can't prove it. Same way you can't prove the Big Bang, you can't prove Julius Caesar or anything like that. But
you don't have any
you have
evidence
to
the Bible's
believe that the
100%
Bible
true?
is true.
You don't have any evidence?
No, because there is none.
All right, thanks. All right, that was fast. Okay. So, no evidence the Bible's true. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Let's see what the next one. And Ace appears. Welcome, Ace. How's it going?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
How you doing? Are you at least 18?
Yes, sir, I am.
Fantastic. All right. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Yes, first I'm going to make a statement. And my statement is that Bible is 100% conditionally true and it is not 100% unconditionally true. And I'm going to differentiate between these two.
Okay. So it's 100% conditionally true. And what does that mean?
That means it is metaphorical and there is one person in this world who can interpret this Bible correctly as it is supposed to be interpreted.
Okay. And what is your evidence that it is 100% true? Let's just start with the evidence.
Because I can interpret it correctly. And you ask me questions, I will give you the answers.
All right.
Ask me questions from the Bible, I'll give you the answers. Whatever contradictions you think, whatever is wrong with the Bible, you ask me the questions.
No, I'm asking
I
you.
will give
Yeah.
you answers.
No, I'm asking you to
My
start with
answers,
your.
Bible is perfect. I'm telling you, Bible is perfect.
The Bible is perfect. Okay. What's your evidence that it's perfect?
Yeah, the Bible is perfect is my evidence.
Yeah. Give me. No, that's a statement. So what's
That
your
is my
evidence?
statement. My statement is evidence. You have to say if it is not perfect, you have to say. Burden of proof is on your shoulders, sir, not on my shoulders.
No, because
You have to prove it to me
okay.
that it is not imperfect.
Hey, unconditional
I'm
love.
calling it perfect.
You have
to show
an
me
invisible.
imperfection.
I've got an invisible fire-breathing dragon in my garage. So, do you believe me?
Sir, the Bible doesn't talk about any invisible fire-breathing garage.
Do you? Well, let me ask you again. I have an invisible fire-breathing dragon in my garage. Do you believe me?
Show me and I will believe you.
Well, no. You first ask me if you believe. Do you believe me?
You have to show it to me, then I will believe you. You ask me, will you believe me? I'm giving the
So
answer. If you show it to me, I will believe you.
You don't believe me?
Well, when you show it to me, I will believe you. Right now, I'm not making any judgments on you.
Okay, so you don't believe me
I
now.
don't know. Maybe there is a fire-breathing monster
you
in your
have to-
garage. I don't know.
Well, no, unconditional. You
I
have
do
to
not
prove
know,
to-
sir. Right now, I
you've
don't
gotta
know the
prove to
answer.
me-
If you
Oh, I
show
was
me, I will
right.
believe you.
I got the crash out. It's just the second guy, not the first guy. See, you got to prove to me that I don't
Yeah,
have
you
an
are an
invisible
idiot who would like
fire-breathing
want to
garage.
call it a crash out. You
Ooh,
can call it a crash out.
He went to.
You can call it a
that
crash
right
out. You
away.
can keep losing all the time.
Ow.
You can keep searching for God and never find it. If
So-
you keep crashing out people like me.
You don't have any evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Sir, if you cannot talk to me, you are the one who is impatient.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, sir.
Yes,
I'm
you
asking
are not.
you.
If you
Yeah.
boot me, you
Oh,
lost
I'm not
the
going to
opportunity.
boot you. First of all, I need you to prove to me first that I do not have a invisible fire-breathing dragon in my garage.
All right.
So
I
so
cannot-
it's the burden of proof is on you because you don't believe me. So,
Yeah. I'm
okay.
saying what I'm going to tell you is I will not believe you until you show me.
Okay. So then prove to me that I don't have an invisible fire breathing. It's your burden of proof, like you said. It's my
Correct.
burden of proof
You said
to tell
okay,
you
okay,
that
let
the
me put it.
Bible
The
isn't
fire-breathing
100%
garage.
true.
Okay.
So
all right.
demonstrate it
all
to
right,
me
all right,
first.
all right,
Prove to me
understand,
that
understand.
I don't have a 100.
Understand.
I don't have an
All right.
invisible fire
all
breathing
right.
dragon in my garage.
Let's come to an agreement that if you have a fire-breathing dragon in your garage, then the burden of proof is on your shoulder. Correct?
Oh wait, it's on my shoulders. But wait a minute, you just said a
For
minute
you,
ago.
for me to believe you.
Wait, hold on.
For
You-
me to believe you, the
yeah,
burden
so
of
for
proof
me
is
to
on your
believe you that the Bible is
No, no,
100% true, then that means that you have the burden of proof to me,
Okay.
right?
Let me explain. The Bible, there is a monster.
Rules
Right?
for thee,
There
but
is
not
okay.
for
Let's
me.
let's sort out the rules. I wanted to sort out
Oh,
the
wait,
rules.
hold on. Can you?
Can
well,
we just
yeah,
sort
yeah.
out the rules, please?
Okay, so
Okay, I just want to sort
can
out the
you-
rules.
Yeah. I think the first rule you have to tell me is you have to say this: rules for thee, but not for me. I think that's your first rule, right?
No. I just want sort out rules of debate.
Yeah. So yours is
Can we
rules
just
for
can I
thee
talk about
and not for me.
No,
That's
it's the
your
rules
first one,
about the
right?
debate that's going to commonly apply to both of us. It is going to commonly apply to both
Yeah.
of us. The rules of the debate. Can I
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it?
Yeah. So just
Thank you,
so
thank you.
Okay,
All right.
so
Can
how
I talk about
this?
it,
How
please? You have to allow me
here's
to
a
talk. Otherwise, I
suggestion.
can't talk.
Here's a suggestion. How about you just answer the question above my head? What's your best evidence the Bible is 100% true? Just give me your evidence. How about that?
Yeah, my evidence is that you don't have any evidence that is not perfect.
Okay, so that means my invisible fire-breathing dragon is real then, because you don't have any evidence.
If you are claiming it, you have to blame it. Okay, if you are claiming it is perfect, then you have to prove it. If I am claiming it is perfect, then I have to prove it.
Okay.
I am not claiming it. I am claiming it. Okay. If you are claiming it perfect, you have to claim. I am not saying. I'm saying that if there is any fault in my Bible, sir, please show it to me and I'll accept it. Otherwise, there is no fault.
Is the Bible 100% true?
So you have to show me the fault in the Bible for me to accept it.
Hold on. Yes or no?
My Bible is 100% perfect.
Your Bible is 100%
You have to first
perfect.
show me the fault. Yeah, you have to show me the fault.
Okay.
Show me the fault.
Well, wait a minute. But first you have to show me how it's done. You have to prove to me that I don't have an invisible fire-breathing dragon.
Sir, we are not have any in-breathing fire-breathing dragon in the Bible, sir. That's all I can tell you. I can tell you there is no fire-breathing dragon in the Bible at all, sir.
No. I'm talking about in my garage. You have to prove to me
in
that
your
there's
garage,
not
that
one
is
in my
your
garage.
problem, sir. Not my problem. I promise you, it is your problem, not my problem.
Oh, it's definitely my problem. I'm not trying
Yeah,
to.
it is only
give
your
you the
problem, not my problem at all, sir. It is your
see,
fire-breathing monster. You have it in
yes.
your garage. That's your problem.
Yes, it's
not
in my garage,
problem.
and it is my problem. I agree with that.
And if you ask me if you want me to believe it or not, I will say I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Well, not knowing means you don't believe. So that means you have to prove that.
No,
it's
I
not
don't know means I don't know. It's neither believing nor not believing. I don't know. I have no information.
Yeah. Well,
I cannot say yes or no to this answer because
I
don't know
believe
it's
nor
different
you
from
don't
yes
believe.
or no.
So that means you don't believe.
If in a question paper, if you mark yes, it is
if
yes.
you don't know, that means you
if
don't
you mark
believe.
no, it is no. If you don't mark anything at all, it is don't know.
Okay.
If you mark on a yes, if you cross out a yes, it is yes. If you cross out on the no, it is a no. If you don't cross out anything, it means I don't know. It's a third
so
answer.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's a different thing.
But that means you don't believe.
That means I don't know only. I don't
you would
believe
say,
or not
yes,
believe. I don't know, sir. It is your God, your problem, not my problem.
You would say, yes, I believe you, though.
I am here to tell you the Bible is 100% true. And if you have a fault in it, show it to me.
Okay.
And I will believe
what's your evidence of that? What's your evidence that's 100% true?
You have to show me the fault.
No. See, the thing is
only when you show me the fault, mine
see
becomes
the question
imperfect.
above my head? Wait, hold on. Do you see the question above my head? You see it? Yeah, you do, right? So when you come into the live as a guest, I assume that you're ready to answer the question. Not say
what is the best evidence the Bible is 100%? I'll give me best evidence right now. My best evidence is that I believe it.
Your best evidence is that you believe it.
I believe it, man. I have 1%. I believe it.
Okay, so then that means that
I believe it.
True,
that is the best evidence.
Because we have Hindus who believe in the Bhagavad Gita, so that means the Bhagavad Gita.
The Hindus believe it. I believe in a Bible is 100% true.
Okay, but so because you believe it,
that is my best evidence. And that is my best evidence. You can accept it or you can deny it. That is your choice. You wanted it, I gave it to you.
That's just funny because then that means the Quran is true and the Bhagavad Gita is true.
Sir, I have not investigated. Quran, I tell you, is not true. Quran is not true. Bhagavad Gita has some flaws. And Bhagavad Gita has some flaws.
Because you don't
and the Bhagavad Gita definitely has flaws in it.
The Quran has flaws and the Bhagavad Gita has flaws?
Yeah, both of them have flaws.
Okay. But you said that you believe it.
I have read the Bhagavad Gita totally in its entirety, but I have not read the Quran in its.
Yeah.
I have read the Quran. I have not read the Quran in its entirety, but I read the Bhagavad Gita in its entirety, and I tell you it has many flaws in it. And its God is very partial. And first of all, and also the God Krishna, you must know how many girls he's got. Just like Muhammad, he's also a pedophile. He's a pedophile.
He is?
I won't tell you what kind of pedophile he is. The first woman he had, what age he had her? Those is what make a man a pedophile. All records are there. Records of when Krishna had his first woman, what he did also. He used to steal women's clothes. This guy used to,
Krishna did?
Women were bathing, and this guy used to steal their clothes.
Sounds pretty badass to me.
Yeah. See, this guy is the guy they worship.
Yeah.
Ask Hindus. Ask Hindus if Krishna stole clothes of the women having the bath in the river. And they will say yes.
Okay. So are you saying then because Krishna's a P3DO, as is Allah, that
As is Muhammad. As is
as is
Muhammad.
Muhammad. Okay, as is Muhammad. That makes it not
Jesus is very straight.
true. Jesus
The
is
guy
very
was
straight.
celibate. He
Is
was
God
celibate.
is God straight too?
God is straight too. God has
God
got
is
the Holy
straight?
Spirit. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
God is straight. Holy Spirit. He can't mess with humans.
He doesn't mess with humans?
He can't mess. He can't have. Man,
Yeah.
he's a guy up there, and he can't even touch you, man. In the sense,
Yeah.
I mean, if he touches you, he'll pass through you.
Gotcha.
He's a spirit.
Is
He'll
now
walk
is
through you right away.
okay. Now is so now would you say then that God you don't think God is a P3DO, right?
No, God is not a PT.
Yeah. Now, what would so is that true even though he ordered the Israelites to take virgin girls after killing all the Midianites?
This guy is a cruel dictator, God. I can tell you that much. He's
He
a
is a
cruel
cruel
dictator, but he's not a
dictator, God?
pedo. Yeah,
But he's not a P3DO.
But
But he's
he's
a
not
cruel
a pedo.
dictator. Okay.
He's a cruel dictator.
He is a cruel dictator.
Yeah,
But
he's a cruel dictator.
not a P3DO. That's where you draw the
Not a
line.
P3DO. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I draw the line.
Why would a cruel dictator want the Israelites to take little virgin girls for themselves then if he's not a P3DO?
I don't know, man. He thinks punishing will make people not do crimes. That is his logic. Always punish somebody and then they won't repeat it.
They
But
won't
people
repeat
keep
it.
on doing it. He doesn't seem to get the idea. That's why I'm calling him a cruel dictator.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, but I'm not sure why that is so. I mean, I'm not sure why that says no, he's not a P3DO. Because he's telling, Israelites to take little girls, right?
He is not doing it. He's asking others to do it. Therefore,
He's
I
not
draw the
doing
line
it?
there.
He's not doing
He's
it.
not personally doing it.
He's not
Yeah, he's not
personally
doing
doing
it.
it, but he's
He's
ordering
telling
them
others.
to, right?
Yeah, his ordering is different from doing it.
Ordering is
I
different
mean,
from
let me
doing.
tell you. Yeah, ordering is different from doing it. You have to pay
Okay.
somebody money in order to be liable for that crime. If you order somebody and somebody does it, you are not liable for the crime.
Okay.
But actually, I paid him some money.
So ordering somebody to take a little
In
virgin
today's
girl
world, if I say, in
isn't
today's world,
P3DO-ish.
ordering alone is not enough for,
Hmm.
you won't get a conviction by ordering
Yeah.
alone in this
Have
today's
you,
world.
have you ever ordered
Conviction you will
somebody?
get only if you had actually paid money.
Yeah. Have
Money
you ever,
has to be have exchange.
have you ever, are you a boss or anything? Like, do you have people work for you?
Yeah, I am a business owner myself.
Mm.
Yes.
Have you ever ordered anyone to take little virgin girls?
No, sir. I'm
No?
not in that line of business. No, sir.
You-
That is illegal in
okay.
America. It's illegal in America to do even order such things. And
Yeah.
in America, it's illegal
Yeah.
to order such things. Therefore, I won't do it.
Okay.
Because the
But
guy will complain against me to cops
you
and
wouldn't do
cops
it,
will come after
but
me.
God would do
I
it,
won't do
right?
it, sir.
You wouldn't do it, but
See,
you definitely
God
wouldn't
is
do it.
boss, sir. Okay, let me tell you. Donald
God
Trump
is the
can do it.
boss.
Donald Trump can do it.
Well,
I
but
can't
you're
do
a
it,
boss
but
too.
Donald Trump can order. He'd order Epstein to do it. Epstein did it.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump can do it. I can't do it. That's the law of this country. Donald Trump can do it.
Okay.
I cannot.
Well, okay, but you cannot. So
Donald Trump can.
okay, Donald Trump can't. Well, it sounds like Donald Trump has, just going by the e-files many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's the thing. Double standard. We have a double standard in this
Yeah,
country.
yeah,
for
yeah. So the
everything.
double standard, and then so I guess the double
And
standard
for
is
God
it's
also
okay
there's
for
double
God to.
standard.
Is it
Same double standard applies to God
yeah.
also.
Okay. There's a double standard for God too.
Yeah, same double standard on God too.
Yeah. Why is there a double standard for God? How come he doesn't
Because he's
follow?
God, no?
Yeah. Why
He's
is it?
God,
Why
man.
is it
What
good
else?
for? Well, why is it good for
Ask the
God to?
Christians. You got to ask the Christians about this. This is the problem. Christians believe God
Oh,
can
you're
do
not a
anything.
Christian?
I'm a Christian, but I'm not that kind
Well,
of
I'm
a
asking
Christian
you.
who gives unlimited. I am a different kind of a Christian. I will call mainstream Christians.
Okay.
The mainstream Christians believe that God cannot be questioned. I am not
So
that mainstream Christian. That's why I'm questioning
okay.
God anytime.
So you're saying then that the Christians, other Christians, will be able to tell me why God orders, P3DOism.
They will say the people
P3DO
sinned,
female.
that's why he ordered. No, they will say they sinned. That's why they got
sinned?
punishment. Yeah, that's what God they will say.
The Israelites sinned, so he
The
let them have little
Christians will
girls.
say the Christians will say those people who were unalived sinned. Therefore, they got unalived. That's what they will say.
Mhm.
I am not saying that.
Did the little virgin girls sin too?
Nobody sinned, sir. I don't believe in sin
You just
at all.
said the people who died sinned.
Though some Christians believed, the Christians, mainstream Christians, I'm not a mainstream Christian. I'm a side stream Christian. I'm a side stream Christian who
You're a
holds
side
God
stream
accountable.
Christian.
Yeah, who holds God
Okay.
accountable. I see. I like Jesus more than his daddy.
Okay. What? Well, Jesus is God, right?
Jesus is not God to me. I'm a
Oh,
side
he's not
stream
God to you.
Christian
He's
who believes
different.
he is God's son. He's God's son who actually went against his father and got punished.
Okay. So Jesus went against God and got punished.
And got punished.
How
And still
did-
God was merciful to revive him after 3 days.
Oh,
He said
where
only
does it say that
punishment
in
for
the
3
Bible?
days. Yes, after 3 days he came up, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, what does that
punishment?
mean? 3-day punishment.
3-day punishment. So he just put him on
Time out.
a timeout. He just put him on timeout
Yeah.
for 3 days and just said punish
Now
him.
messing with his laws.
What did
He said
what did Jesus
Moses
do?
Jesus tried to mess with God's laws. He wrote the Torah, remember? Torah and
Mhm.
Tanakh. Jesus was trying to mess with that, trying to tell people not to believe that and stuff like that he is son of God and this and that. And so God got a little upset. Like, you're supposed to be humble. God has told Jesus, you have to be humble. And Jesus,
And Jesus
he
wasn't very
doesn't,
humble.
God is a double-standard guy. He only has humility expectations from everybody around him,
God
except
was a
him.
double standard guy.
Yeah, he's always.
Yeah.
He only expects humility expectations from everybody around him.
Mhm.
He alone, he will say, I am God. He will say that.
Mhm.
And you cannot say that. If you say that, you are dead. Jesus said
Yeah.
that, that's why he got.
Okay.
He came and he was not humble.
I have this sneaking suspicion you're trolling me.
No. My name is, if you know my name, if you look at my profile, you got to look at my profile. My profile will explain who I am. My profile, if you want, I can read it to you.
I think you're fucking with
I
me,
can
though.
I can read my
Which I
profile.
don't
My name,
mind. I don't mind.
I am the
Make a little
fallen
fame, but-
angel. I am the fallen angel. I am arising again with the help of God Almighty, my Father in heaven.
Okay. Oh, I see. You're saying
I'm the bad boy.
You're saying
I'm
you're
the
Satan.
bad boy of Christianity.
Got it.
I'm the bad boy
All
of
right.
Christianity.
Well, hey, tell you what, Satan. I'm gonna go talk to a Christian and let's see what they have to say. All right.
Now, I'm also Christian, but my view of Christianity is slightly different from regular Christians. I'm 100% believer in Bible, except that it is up to your own interpretation. You got to interpret it correctly. One person can do it, me.
Yeah, you got to interpret.
And if they follow my
yeah.
interpretation, they'll be saved. Otherwise, they are all getting fucked in hell.
Okay. All
Satan
right.
is telling them they are all getting fucked in hell.
I gotcha. Well, hey, tell you what, Satan. I'm gonna move. I think there's a Christian waiting to talk to me, so I'm gonna go talk to them. All right.
Thank
But
you.
hey,
Thank you. Have
I
a great
appreciate
day.
you coming
Bye.
up. All right.
I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Well, hey, start the day off with talking to Satan himself, and so I guess, well, because he called himself Satan, but I guess Christians are right when they said even Satan believes in God. Learn something new every day, huh? Well, that was interesting. Well, I will say this. If Satan is the big tempter, I wasn't very tempted to keep him up on the guest panel. Yeah, I wasn't very tempted. I just got here. That was wild. Yeah, that was pretty wild. But he didn't give me any. He wasn't able to disprove my invisible fire-breathing dragon. You'd think Satan could do that, right? I mean, that's kind of my thing. You'd think so. We gotta invite a friendly up real quick because we have important announcements. So just hang tight, everybody. Don't everybody leave. These are just really quick announcements. So just hang in there for just like a couple minutes. I promise it's not going to take long. Hi, Ember. How are you?
Hello, I am good. Yeah, don't everybody leave at once. God, jeez.
And Ember's so kind and just gentle and sweet. You shouldn't leave when
I
they
try
come
to make
up.
it fun.
Yeah,
I try
you
to make it
shouldn't
fun.
do that.
But
don't take it personally,
we went for
though, Ember. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we went for the pepper analogy, but that kind of got tired, kind of thinking Aaliyah talked about me
they're
being
trying
a
to keep it
cruise
fresh.
director.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to keep it fresh.
Exactly.
No caps in the chat, please.
Yeah.
But I will go ahead and do announcements. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trust But Verifies Live. Thank you so much for everyone being here. We have 164 people here, which is amazing. We have 7.3K likes. If we could get up really quickly, just do a quick tap for like a minute. we can get up to 10K likes, and then we'll get on to 25K likes and our normal milestones after that.
Yeah.
And then we have 66 shares. Can we get up to 100? That would be amazing. Long press on the screen for to repost and share the live individually. And then let me see here. If you want to interact with the live, as far as if there's a guest up that you don't particularly enjoy, you can contribute to the live goal, which is 25 Let 'em Cook, which will trigger a kick poll, and so we will all be able to vote on that. And then you'll be able to also send a jellyfish if you want to just remove that. And some
Elizabeth
people
has
have
a coupon.
coupons.
Let's not
Yes,
forget.
some people have coupons. I
Elizabeth
know
has
some
one.
people on YouTube have coupons, but I did not keep track of like any of those. So
Yeah.
some people, yeah, you can send super chats for those as well. But we totally understand, you know, everybody
Ace has a
is,
Sorry.
yeah, Ace has a coupon. We, you know, are out here struggling these days, so we understand how things are. So if you can't, you know, donate or help or have a membership or anything, just continue tapping and sharing the live. Those are all free things to do. And it really helps us just stay on the FYP so that we can get those good conversations coming in. So let's see here. We have a Discord. It is open for everyone. We have a lot of discussions in there. We're going to have more education in there. And we just ask that you engage, what's the word, genuinely, and also come with information, scientific information with any claims that you make within the server. So yeah, I think, did I hit everything? No, I have a few more things. No preaching, no unconsented prayer in the chat, no spamming, no caps lock. It just clogs up the chat, and it's how we as mods communicate with Trust and with the other mods. So we appreciate you just not doing that, and just be nice in chat as much as you can. We understand that these conversations can be heated. And it can be frustrating, but we just appreciate all of your cooperation, and we are so happy that you are here. Thank you so much, and welcome to Trust But Verifies Live.
Yay! Thank you, Ember. W's for Ember.
Absolutely.
W's hearts.
All right, I'm gonna drop.
Okay.
Thanks, chat. Thanks,
See
Trust.
ya. All right. So thank you for your patience, everybody. All right. So again, welcome in, everybody, and thanks for the little crown. I appreciate that. I so like that. And we also got a dolphin, and Ember got a rose, so that was nice. And some Go Popular, some Let 'em Cook, some roses. So thank you all for sending those. Really, really appreciate that. So let's move on to the next guest. But yeah, I thought Satan would come with something a little bit better, because Satan, the Prince of Darkness, would say something a little more convincing, but it wasn't very convincing. He just said it's just up to your interpretation, but the Bible's 100% true. Interesting. All right, well, let's go to the next guest. Maybe a Christian can do better than Satan could. How's it going? Hello.
Yes, good day, sir. How you doing?
Oh, there you are. Hi. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm over 18.
Okay, great. All right. And I take it you're a Christian. So what is your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Can I ask you a question first before we talk?
Sure.
Why you said I'm an atheist?
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
I am. Okay, so now to your evidence. There's your question. So now to your evidence.
No, wait.
You said one question, right?
But an atheist should not be talking about God.
Why not? Oh, getting a headache.
Do you know what it means to be an atheist?
Sure do. I am
What
one,
it means
so
to
I
you?
should know. I should know what it is. It's according to the dictionary definition. You know what the definition is? What does it say in the
Yes.
dictionary?
He said, yes, you tell me. You read it for the audience. Fine.
Why do I have to read it?
Because you make that. I'm a Christian. I'm going to tell you what's the definition of a Christian. I want you to tell me the definition of an atheist.
Okay.
We want to
So
make a challenge first.
okay. So now, do you understand how social contracts work?
Yes.
Okay, so social contracts, like, so if you come into a live, right, and you see a question above the host's head, the social contract is that you're going to, once you come up as a guest, you're going to answer the question, right? Not try to detour the discussion to something that you want to talk about.
I will
but-
answer all your questions.
Sure. All right.
I will
Well,
an-
let's
I
start
am
with
here
the
to
first
answer
one
all your
above my
questions.
head. Do you not believe that I'm an atheist? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I don't believe you're an atheist. So I
Oh, you
want
don't
to,
believe I am.
Why I don't
Okay.
believe? No,
All right.
because you want to read
Okay.
the definition.
Well, maybe if there's time, we can get to that part. But first, I'll need you to answer the question above my head. So what's the best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
This is going to be the best evidence if you tell me the definition of an atheist.
Why does the definition of an atheist demonstrate that the Bible is 100% true?
Because I'm going to show you that the Bible is true. I'm going to go to a scripture in the Bible that is going to show you that the Bible is true. When you teach me, when you tell the panel what's the definition of an atheist, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a scripture what is true.
If
About that.
if I wasn't an atheist, would you still try to make me go and define what an atheist is? Like if I just said I'm an agnostic, or I'm a doubting Christian, would you still try to make me define what an atheist is?
Yes, because you have
You
it
would?
there.
Why?
Yes, because you said I'm an atheist. You make a claim.
Uh-huh.
So
So
that claim
if
you
I
make,
said
I am a
above
Christian.
my head, I'm a doubting Christian, what's your best evidence that Bible is 100% true? Are you saying to me, then,
No, you
sir,
cannot be
you'll
a doubting
still have to define what an atheist is, because that's my evidence.
No, you cannot be a doubting Christian, and you cannot. Nobody can be a doubting Christian.
Can't be a doubting Christian. Okay. So
Yeah,
it would be a
don't
bit of a
discount-
different
it would be-
conversation, right?
Huh?
It would be a different conversation. So
yes.
Okay,
First, let me
but
tell
would
you
your
something.
evidence be the same?
Yes, my
It
Bible
would.
evidence.
Okay,
is
well,
same.
why don't you just tell us the evidence, and then we can just move
No,
on?
but I
Because
want you to tell me. the
I'm not really
definition
interested in
of an
defining what an atheist is, because if you don't know, then maybe I should just drop you and you can go look it up and come back.
No,
you
you
want to
see,
do that?
why you dropping me? Why you dropping me?
Because you're not answering the
I
question.
want to prove the Bible to you by you telling me what's an
That's
atheist.
that's
Being a man.
fantastic. So just go ahead and present your evidence, and then we can move on.
Oh my God! So you see, you're here. I am a Christian. Ask me to define a Christian for you, and I,
don't
will
want to.
define it.
I already know what a Christian is. I just want you to answer
Okay.
my question above my head.
But I
You
want
see
to know
that
what
question
an
above my head?
atheist. So tell me, read the definition for me.
Do you not
Can
know
you
what an
please?
atheist? Do you not know what an atheist is? Is that why?
An atheist. I want you to read the definition for your audience.
Okay. So I'm asking you, do you not know what an atheist is?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so why do I have to read it if you already know what it is?
Because
I know what
I
an atheist
want-
is. Hey, type
No, I
a one.
want you
Hey,
to read
chat.
my-
Type a
okay,
one if you
can
know
you-
what an atheist is. Just type a one in the chat,
Atheist is.
because I have a feeling we're kind of going down like something that's not necessary. But everybody knows what an atheist is, sir. So why do we have to
Seems
define it?
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant. So why don't you just give us your evidence?
Okay, so an atheist is a person who do not believe there is a God.
No, that's not true. So you
Okay,
don't know.
all right.
So you don't
So-
know what an atheist is.
Yes, I don't know then. So give me the definition.
Ah, you don't know. Okay, I will after you give me your evidence that the Bible's 100% true. You got to answer my
should
question
get-
first. Well,
You're a
We should get him
coward.
to define what an automobile is first. Then we'll give you the definition for atheist. If we're just gonna talk about like
I don't make that
definitions are
claim,
irrelevant.
sir. I don't make that claim. Your host make a claim that I am an atheist.
mm-hmm.
So because he make a claim that he's an atheist,
Mhm.
I am a Christian. He called for a Christian, I come. I represent a Christian. I stand for what Christianity is.
Fantastic. You know what you could do, the way of life, 532? You know what you could do is you could leave here, you could start your own live, and then you could say, and on the top of your head, you could put, if you're an atheist, define what it means and prove it to me. And then people will just come in and they'll do that for you. But see, when you come into my live and then you're trying to dictate how this live goes, that's not going to work. So I just need you to answer the question up here. So are you going to answer the question, or do I need to move on to the next guest?
So I will not answer your question
All
until
right.
you read it.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming up. Hey, all righteous atheists. And wait a
Guess
minute.
what?
You sound so familiar. Like you sound like one of my best buddies on here, Lobes. But this is such a different like logo and stuff. What is this about?
Well,
I'm old.
actually
I have bad memory. I'm really old.
I'm actually cyber deconstruction, but I'm doing a Loeb's impression, and it's really good. And this is just another account.
Cyber deconstruction was in here earlier, so that tracks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you got me.
Dang. I gotcha. Can't fool me. But I'm just kidding, everybody. I know what All Righteous Atheist is. In case you guys didn't know, this is a joint project between me and Lobes, not Cyber Deconstruction. Sorry, Cyber. I like you and all, but this is with me and Lobes because he asked me first. But we're doing a joint venture, and pretty soon, like really, really soon, we're going to be having lives where both of us are going to be on talking to other believers, and also we're going to be doing like fun stuff like games and all kinds of stuff. Like Godless Engineer volunteered a couple of games we could use. So yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Be a fun atheist show where
it's going to be a fun atheist show.
Just come and be. I think it's good to have community.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's one of the things you lose when you leave your faith, and not necessarily every atheist is someone who lost their faith in something, but
yeah,
it's something that I lost, and I think that you too, right, Trust?
Yeah, I did. And so everybody,
this is
if you all want to
really
see that,
cool.
follow All Righteous Atheists.
And what we just got though, Trust, I sent you some invites. I don't know if you noticed, but we have live access already, and not only that,
That is amazing.
but I've done a few lives, and now we're already able to take guests. So we got those out of the way.
Okay,
we're ready to go on TikTok.
I think we're ready to rock and roll. So it's going to be coming sooner than you think. A lot sooner than you think. So everyone follow, so you'll get the notification when we go live, and then we'll be on, and then you'll see us, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right. So you want to hang out and talk for a bit?
I got 6 minutes, and I'll chime in a little bit, I guess.
All right. Well, let's not waste any more time. How you doing, Dev?
Doing all right.
All right. And are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
All right. My best evidence that the Bible is 100% true, because the Bible says that the Bible is true.
Oh, wait. Come on. You guys know what's coming, right? Okay. So, the Bible is true?
Right.
Because the Bible says it's true.
Yes. It's that simple.
Okay. The Bible is true because the Bible says it's true.
Hey, now I'm just fucking around. Listen.
We know.
Listen.
We know.
Hey, this shit is crazy. I just want to say this. This shit is crazy. Like, no. This shit is crazy that I don't got nothing else to say. This shit is crazy, man.
No,
I can't believe people really really are invested in can I ask you a question? What was the best evidence someone had?
Well, so far, actually, you're the best evidence that someone had. The Bible is true because the Bible is true.
That's what it sounds like, don't it?
Yes.
That's truly what it sounds like. That it doesn't.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna leave. I just wanted to
just
say some stupid shit because this is what it sounds like. But
In airtight syllogism.
Yeah, airtight
premise
syllogism.
1, the Bible is true. Conclusion, the Bible
Man,
is
it's
true.
crazy,
If
man.
premise 1 follows, then that's the conclusion.
Exactly.
But I got a question for y'all. Why do y'all think people believe Like, why don't y'all think people ask like why don't y'all think people ask that question? Like, anybody could have made it.
That's a good question. Why don't
People
people
don't
ask
wanna
that
know.
question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you think people avoid asking that?
I
They
think
they don't
they don't
want
want
to
to know.
They,
Yeah,
they'd rather go on believing something that's comfortable. I mean, it's not just comfortable; it's existentially
yeah,
like comforting. They have a purpose
Okay.
for their life. They have they have a
Okay.
hope
Yeah.
for
Right.
death. They're
Right.
never gonna die. They ground their morality. You know, oh my, like whatever I feel is right or wrong is objectively true because I decided that my God says it's objectively right or wrong.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
they don't want to let go of.
hmm
Okay. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah, I
sense.
think it's a comfort thing
Okay.
and
Now let's.
fear of the unknown. You know.
So you're an atheist.
Hmm.
Yeah. The fear of the unknown. That's like the world's biggest problem. Like, not, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So that applies with the Bible too.
yeah.
So this is the question though. That so atheist is 100% like you don't believe in 100%. There's no win like
Not
the
necessarily.
world.
All it means
Okay.
is that it just means that a person who
Oh,
does
he's trying
not
to trick us
believe in
into
the existence of
defining
any
it.
gods. Yeah, I
He's
know.
trying to trick us
I
into
know. I wasn't trying
defining
to.
it.
I wasn't trying to do that. My bad.
He did. He tricked me.
He
He
got
did.
you.
He
No,
got
I
me.
wasn't trying to do
got
that. I don't know anything.
Uno
But
reverse,
like my
Dev.
thing.
Uno reverse, my man. Uno reverse. Wow. But hey, since the
But
cat's
look
out of
though.
the bag, it is a person who does not believe in the existence of any God. So that's different than saying there is no God. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You just don't believe there
Like
is
that's
one.
part of it.
Yeah. Now
I
some
think
people
that
will
would be an
say,
atheist too.
I don't believe, therefore there are no gods. But I'm one of the ones that say I don't know that there's any God, but I don't believe there are any
Right.
gods. Yeah. So I'm an
Okay.
agnostic
Right.
atheist.
Right. Yeah, agnostic. That's what I would classify myself as because I don't know.
Okay.
At the end of the day, none of us fucking know. But we
None of
gonna
us
all
really
sit up here
know.
and act like we fucking know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm like, there just isn't any evidence that a God exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not, there's not any evidence. It just all like ultimately falls apart. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But
I'm
That's
at a
pretty.
place where I've always said that I'm agnostic atheist, but that's only only technically agnostic atheist. But when you put God in the same category as something like fairies or genies or a sandwich on Pluto or something that we have no evidence for, I'm comfortable saying those things don't exist. I think the only reason I would say I'm agnostic atheist, which I don't really even say that anymore, is just because people want to be super anal about, can you absolutely prove there is no God? And it's like, you
Yeah.
can't
Right.
absolutely prove there's no Zeus or that there's no pixies, but you would say that there isn't. So I think that we are all technically agnostic to these things because you can't absolutely prove something wrong. God is just one of those things. So I think that practically I would say that just there is no God.
yeah,
It's
but
pretty easy.
I'm not gonna fight any atheists that say 100% there are no gods. That, it's too little of a hill to die on. I got bigger
Yeah,
fish to
whatever.
fry.
I'm already 99% there. You can say 100,
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
98% there. So I mean,
Do you guys have any like religious people in your family?
mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
got a lot.
That's a
Yeah,
headache, ain't it?
I got a lot. So
That's a headache. I know.
yeah, it can be a headache, and I think we've just come to a point where we just don't talk about it anymore because I mean it just always came down to it just is. I just have faith. It just is, and then we just kind of leave it at that. And it's like, hey,
Shut up,
you know what?
Jack, the Heisenberg
Yep.
Blue.
Don't start none, won't be none. That's just how we keep it in my family.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
yeah.
All right, but I just wanted to come on here and just fuck around for a bit. But
Yeah, no, it's all good,
yeah,
dude.
y'all have a good one. All
Well,
right, cool.
I think
cool.
stick around because I think in a little while I'm gonna change it up and we're gonna start talking about deconstruction. So I'm switching things up a little
Okay,
bit, but
cool.
yeah, stick around for a minute and you can come back up and talk.
All right, cool. Y'all
All
have
right,
a good one.
man.
I'm gonna follow you.
All
and
right,
everything.
have a good one, man. Good meeting you.
Good work too, Trust. You have a
Oops.
good rest of your life.
All right. Whoever I accidentally dropped, just come back in because you were actually going to be next, but I hit the decline button by accident. So sorry about that. But hey, it's good seeing you, my friend. So I'm very happy that we have live access with talking and all that. So, okay, lives are starting very, very
All
soon.
set.
Let's go.
If you want, I would actually log in and see. You can even leave this. I have this sitting as a guest on my live, so you can have it up here.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea. Or you could also just mess around with it. Maybe you could see if you
Not
can
a
get
bad
it set
idea.
up on YouTube. You got the logins and everything.
I do,
'Cause
yeah.
I haven't set up OBS.
Okay.
So maybe
I
you can
think
play
I'll do
around
that
with it, see what you can do.
tomorrow only because I don't want to take time and try to log in now and all that because there's probably going to be like 2-factor authentication or something like that. But yeah, I'll mess with it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even mean to right now. You're doing stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right on. Well, hey. All right. Well,
All right. I'll see you, man.
okay. See ya. Boop, boop. Okay. Yeah. So, yes, simultaneously. And there's going to be a lot more of that, Daniel. It's so good to see you, Daniel. Good to see you, friend. Hey. All righteous atheists. All right. The Satanist Sailor. It's good to see you as well. 3 Pips. Good to see you. So, good to see you all. All right. Well, let's bring up our next guest. Esky, good to see you. How you doing? You there, Glenn? We don't hear any sound.
Hello.
There we go. We hear you now. How's it going? Are you at least 18?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Might be your connection, but we'll try it. We'll see what we can do. Just first thing, are you at least 18?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you, I want to kind of do a connection test. Can you tell me when you hear the end of this sentence? Just say something after you hear the end of this sentence.
No, I can't hear your side.
Oh, okay.
For some reason. Let me switch over here. Let me do this. Let me turn off my my headset. Let me turn off my headset.
Okay. I got to find a better way to say that, chat, because I think what they're waiting for is me to say the end of the sentence, like the upcoming sentence, and I mean like the one I just said. So I got to find a better way to say that so they understand what I mean, because I think he was waiting for me to say something, and then he just said, "Hey, I can't hear you." So I don't know. Say a word. Oh, okay, that's a good idea, Alicia C. So I'll just say a word, like, tell me when you hear after the beep. Okay, that's a good one. There we go. All right. Let's try it now. That's a good one. All right. How we doing, Glenn?
I'm doing good. I'm right here.
There we go. Okay, I think we can hear you now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Fantastic. All right. So, Glenn, are you at least 18?
I am.
All right. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Well, actually, it's not 100% true.
Okay.
I've actually been looking at this for a long time now, and in my research, or from my research that I've done, it is that the Bible is not to be taken literally 100% of the time.
Okay.
Now, there are elements of truth in the Bible, but there's also elements of untruth, stories, fables, myths, if you will.
All right.
And also stories that are taken or are taken from other cultures and incorporated into the Bible. Now, the biggest thing that changed with the Bible is really at the incorporation of Emperor Constantine and the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD. Now, prior to this,
totally agree.
And a lot of folks don't talk about this. Again, from my research, and I haven't done a lot of research here, but from my research here, the Gnostic Christians believed that the Old Testament was not synonymous with the New Testament. Now, what do I mean by that? As I used to be a mainstream Christian. I'm still a Christian, but I'm not mainstream Christian.
You still are? Okay.
Well, there's a difference. There's a difference. There are Christians who are mainstream, who are into the Olsteins and all those other guys, but there are also Christians that believe in the source, God as the source element.
Okay.
I do believe there is a source. Why? I'm an engineer. Everything is created. I'll go back to the old. Yeah,
well,
everything.
Well, wait a minute.
Everything has to be. Everything has to be created. It has to be.
Well, who created God?
You just can't. Was that? Well,
who created
that's a
God?
great question. It goes back to the conservation of energy law. What does the conservation of energy say?
Okay. So it says
No. I'm asking you, what does the conservation of energy law say?
energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So
what does that mean? If
Well,
that
it
means
means
if go ahead.
there's
Sorry.
according to physics, that means energy has always existed. So I'm trying to understand then how that demonstrates that God exists.
Because God is existence.
God is existence.
God is reality. Yeah, he's all reality. He's all reality. He's all of it.
Okay.
So if you always was and you always will be, because you cannot destroy energy. You can't. Energy always exists. It's always there.
Energy always exists. But energy doesn't have a mind, right?
Yeah, the universe, and God is the pinnacle of the universe. He is the top of the chain, if you will, of energy, right? And everything stems from that.
And how do we know that?
Well, unfortunately, you have to take a little bit of faith.
Okay, faith. All right.
You have to.
So,
there is some element of faith to it. Okay. However, again, going back to the Old and New Testament, back in the Bible, again, there are elements that are true. There are elements that are not. In 1 John 4:4, Christ said, he said that God is within you. Now, mainstream Christianity will have you believe that God is some faraway source thing away from you.
Yeah.
God, all of us have God within us.
Well, here's the thing.
All of us have elements of God.
Here's kind of the problem with this, because don't know if you ever talked to a black Muslim before. Black Muslims believe that their God was created and by the Big Bang, and that this God, their God Allah, is actually like a superhuman being. Oh, and he dropped. All right. So there it is. All right. So let me reset my timer and let's see if we can bring up somebody else. You know, I think I suppose I thought maybe he thought I was just going to, I don't know, Glenn, but you dropped. How's it going?
Oh, hello.
Yep. How you doing?
Yep. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Are you at least 18 and are you a Christian?
I am, and yes.
All right. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Well, because theism is substantially true, and because Jesus is a theistical figure, and the Bible is a primary. He also made claims about theism in the rest of the Bible, which is obviously comparative with the fact that theism is true, and because the Bible is substantial evidence for this.
Okay, so the Bible is true because theism is true, and Jesus made claims about theism, which are in the Bible.
In the Bible.
So
no, he made claims about theism and the Bible, which obviously asserts itself.
So the Bible is true because theism is true, and Jesus made claims about theism in the Bible, and Jesus's claims are in the Bible. Therefore, the Bible is true.
No, I'm not saying that the Bible is true because the Bible is true. I'm stating five asserted facts.
Let's kind of slow down a minute.
The 5 facts I'm saying is that well, let me finish. So
the Bible is true because here, let me try and steelman it for you. So the Bible is true because theism is true, and theism is true because Jesus made claims about theism. And
that wasn't a substantiation for why theism is true. Those are 2 separate facts.
Those are asserting. Okay. Well, that's what you said, right? But you're saying it's not a substantiation.
No, I'm saying that Jesus affirming theism is not substantiation for theism.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Claiming that I'm giving you 5 separate facts as to why the Bible is evidence.
Okay, and how is theism true a fact?
Right, so would you like to hear the argument for it?
Well, because then that would make Islam true, because Islam is a theism too, right? So Islam is true. And then that means that since Judaism is a theism, Judaism is true. So you've just verified. So if you're going to say theism is true, that means Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are all true.
Yeah, the claim is that not all theistic. I did not claim that all theistic views are true. What I said is that theism is true. Theism just means that God
Theism
exists.
is true,
So
and those are all part of theism, right? So that makes them all true.
No, they're not a part. Those are all theistic views. Okay,
Those
so
are
they
theistic
take
views.
theism
Okay.
yeah.
And Christianity is a theistic view, right?
Yeah, and it's the most truthful theistic view.
Okay, it's likewise a theistic view. And so, but you're saying, but theism isn't necessarily true. You're just saying, but the Christianity theistic view is true.
No, I'm saying, what? Wait, hold on. Say that one more time.
Well, you just said that because there's only really three theistic views, right? There's Christianity, Islam.
Theistic views. What are you talking about?
Well, there's really only three, right?
No, there's pantheism, there's Hinduism, there's Buddhism, there's a bunch of different kinds. I can go down the entire list.
Okay, gotcha. And so, well, I wouldn't count Buddhism as a theistic
God is
view.
True. And then there's
because Buddhists don't believe in a God, right?
Yeah, they do believe in a God.
Do they? Which one?
Yeah, well, they believe that nirvana is a state of godlyhood, right? So that means that anyone who's able to achieve nirvana is a theistical figure.
Is a theistical figure?
Yeah, so therefore it'd be or just a theistic figure, whichever one you like to use. Doesn't really matter.
Okay, got it. So, all right. So
they affirm theism, stating that theism is something that you can approach yourself, so you can be a theistic figure. In other words, you can be a part of theism.
Okay, so but I guess kind of going back, your conclusion is the Bible is 100% true.
So well, you cut me off before I could finish, but yeah.
Okay, so then that means if we could look at the Bible and we could test this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so now when we look at the Bible and we test whether or not it's true.
Are you going to bring up a contradiction? Do I need to explain contradictions to you? Because we can go down a whole list if that's what you're going to get to.
Okay. Well, do you have a different definition of contradiction than what it says in the Bible? Or I'm sorry, not the Bible, in the dictionary?
No, I know what a contradiction is.
Okay. So, but you said you were going to explain to me what a contradiction is.
No, I am assuming that what you're going to go down this path is just.
You have no idea what I'm going to go down. Yeah,
I'm just assuming.
Yeah, you have no idea, right?
Okay, so then I'm sorry. That was right. That was wrong of me to interrupt.
No, you don't worry. No worries. Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to. Okay, so if we find something that's not true in the Bible, does that still make it true?
If we find something that isn't true within the Bible,
yeah,
I don't think we're gonna find something that isn't true within the Bible.
You don't think so?
No, you may find like a prophecy that hasn't been fulfilled, or maybe something that's excluded, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily not true.
Yeah. Okay. And so, do you know when iron was first forged by humans?
No, not particularly off the top of my head.
Not particularly. All right, let's look it up. When was iron first forged? So it was around as early as 4000 BC, but that's meteoric iron, but deliberate smelting and forging began around 1500 to 1200 BCE. So
it says the first humans forging iron were as early as 3200 BC in ancient Egypt, also in ancient Anatolia and full smithing. They actually had ancient breastplates from 4500 BCE in modern day Turkey, known as Anatolia. So
is Anatolia?
That's what it says on Google.
Okay, and so that was in modern day Turkey and Anatolia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so this was done, but this wasn't officially smelting, right? It was like meteorite.
No, yeah, it was officially smelting. No, they literally, it was generally come from like specific rivers, and different like iron sand was where apparently they came this from. So they would just take small scale iron that was like either exposed to the surface, or they would take iron sand and they would smelt it, and they even have a breastplate that's from around 4500 BCE.
Okay. All right. And so what about bronze? When did bronze?
I said, I don't know. I can Google that. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah. What about bronze? Yeah.
Here, let's look at bronze real quick. as early as the 5th millennia BCE, so around 4600.
Mm-hmm. What came first, the Iron Age or the Bronze Age?
I would assume the Bronze Age. Yeah, I'm not too sure though.
Okay, I got you. And so,
yeah, I don't really study a lot of like history specifically. I mean, I do study history, but not like intensely.
Okay, I got you. Okay, and so if we look at the genealogy of Genesis, right? Tubal-Cain appears thousands of years before iron and bronze were forged. So how was Tubal-Cain in Genesis 4? Yeah, in Book of Genesis 4, verse 22. Because it says Zillah bore Tubal-Cain, and if you do the math, Tubal-Cain came thousands of years before we have evidence that iron was forged. So why is it that how was Tubal-Cain able to forge iron before anyone knew how to forge iron and bronze?
I mean, are you asserting that this must be?
No, I'm asking you. You said it. You said it's 100% true, right? So I'm asking you, how was Tubal-Cain able to? How was Tubal-Cain? How is well? If you look at the I'll let you do that. But if you look at the math of the genealogy, Tubal-Cain came way before we were humans. We have evidence for that humans forged iron and bronze. So how was Tubal-Cain able to do that?
Yeah, so again, why do you believe that this was before the Bronze and the Iron Age?
Well, because again, I can do math. And so when we do math on the genealogy, Tubal-Cain came way before we have evidence that iron and bronze were forged. So I'm asking you, how was he able to do that?
Okay, yeah, what is the evidence? Go ahead, give it to me. What is the math? What is the simple math you're using? Because I don't. So
you need me to do the math.
Okay, so when I Google it, it literally says that Genesis 4 most likely takes place at around 3000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
BC,
and so you're saying the math is wrong?
200 years after the ancient Egyptians were using it.
Okay.
And about 1,000 years after,
And so you're saying, so you're saying that the genealogy in Genesis is wrong?
What is the genealogy in Genesis? Go ahead and give it to me.
Okay, well, we can pull it up. So here, just give me a second. So, so we have to go back to Genesis 4, and then we have to go take a look at that. Have you ever read Genesis 4?
Yeah, I've read some parts of Genesis 4.
You've read parts of Genesis, but you haven't read all of it.
Yeah, I haven't read the entire Bible, no. I'm not that.
You haven't read the entire Bible? Yeah. Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I can't argue it. So this would be like a personal attack. We're trying to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
yeah, what is genealogy of Genesis for? I'm looking this up, genealogy of Genesis. It's just talking about the statement of time, right? So there's nothing about a specific like year. It's just saying like events that occurred within a certain time.
Yeah, so when did God create the earth?
When did God create the earth? Was it on the third day? Or was it on the
how many years ago did he create it?
I wasn't there, I don't know. Nobody
you don't know.
There. He didn't tell anyone.
He didn't tell anyone? Okay.
Yeah, he didn't say anything. It doesn't say that in the Bible.
He didn't say anything. Well, because you agree that it does say in the Bible that the one day is like 1,000 years to God, right?
And it doesn't specifically say 1,000 years in the NIV, and in some modern translation it says 1,000 years, but that's not specifically what it says. It just says a time that we cannot grasp, which
what is your evidence of that?
To 1,000 years.
Yeah, what's your evidence of that? So let's take a look at let's take a look at the verse that you say that it's just. Yeah, what verse does that say?
Real quickly, are we talking about the same verse? Go ahead and give it to me real quick. What's the verse you're talking about?
Well, no, I asked you what the verse is. You said it doesn't specifically. It just says we can't grasp the time. So tell me what verse that is.
So are you burden shifting?
No, I'm examining your claim.
No, I'm examining your claim.
What claim is that?
That one day equals 1,000 years to God. And so I'm asking you what verse you're referring to.
Okay. Second Epistle of Peter 3 verse 8. But do not ignore this fact, one beloved, that with the Lord 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like 1 day. So what's your evidence that it's different?
You said Peter 8? Yeah, that's an entire chapter.
Peter 3, verse 8. Here, you want me to put it up on the screen? I can put it up on the screen.
It's up to you. It's your live, man. You can do what you want.
All right. So I guess first thing I'll ask you is if it's right or wrong. So is Peter 3, verse 8, is that wrong or is that right? But do not ignore this one fact, beloved, that with the Lord 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like 1 day. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, so the value that the verse is representing would be correct, yes.
Okay, so it's correct. Okay, so, and then you agree that the Lord created the earth in 6 days, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that was 6,000 years ago.
What? That doesn't necessarily mean it was 6,000 years ago.
It wasn't. Okay, when was it then?
Yeah, so just because 1 day is that God, like just because he made the earth within 6 days, I mean, it doesn't mean that was 6,000 years ago, right?
Well, I'm just going by what your Bible says.
Like, he could have not put humans on the earth for 100 days in his time. So I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Even if this is
he didn't put humans on the earth. Okay, so what I'm trying to understand is what you're saying then is then on the first day. So from the first day to the second day, that was not 1,000 years, or that was 1,000 years.
Yeah. So the day that he made humans is not the same.
That's
day
not what I'm asking. I'm not asking about when he made humans. I'm asking about when the
humans record the human history of it. So
okay. So what I'm asking you though is, was it 1,000 years between days of creating things? Yes or no?
Oh wait, no. He made the heavens and the first on the heavens and the earth on the first day, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't the third day. I was wrong earlier. I apologize about that.
Okay, so it took 1,000 years for him to create things, right? For each day. 1,000 years passed.
Well, like I said, it could just be 1 day. Like it's a God for 1,000 days for 1,000 years for us.
Yeah, that's what it says here. 2 Peter 3, verse 8. With the Lord, 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like 1 day. So that means that when it talks about in Genesis, when it talks about it being the days, those days represent 1,000 years, right?
I mean, it could.
Okay, so 6 days of creation and the Sabbath, that's 6,000 years, right? When it says it right there, 6 days of creation and the Sabbath.
Okay.
Is that true or not true?
It says that, yeah.
Okay, so what? Okay, so that's 6 days. All right. And so that means that the earth was created 6,000 years ago, right?
Yeah. How many days has it been?
No, hold on. That's my question. Yes or no? Was the earth created 6,000 years ago?
No.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't. Okay. So it just only took him 6,000 years then.
Took him 6,000 years for what?
Okay. So when it says, okay, so it sounds like you're trying to be slippery and you're not being intellectually honest. When it says 6 days of creation and the Sabbath, how many years was 6 days?
How many years was 6 days? Well, 6 days to God would be 6,000 years to us.
Okay, so it took 6,000 years to us of creation.
Yeah, in time to create everything for us, yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Okay.
That doesn't mean that it took that long. It just means that that's the time frame he did it in. Like, he could have made it within 1 second to him, but he decided to take his time with it.
Okay, so when it says here,
it actually doesn't even say that he took it. It couldn't say he make it within 1 millisecond, or he didn't just make it appear instantaneously. He could have done all this and then just the next day waited until the next day to occur for himself, and then done it for him.
Okay.
Different kinds of things like that.
Okay, so if we look at this, It says on the sixth day, God finished the work that he had done.
Yes.
On the sixth day. So that was 6,000 years, right?
For us, yeah.
Okay, for us, for whoever.
Well, I mean, also another thing is that you have to understand that the creation days, like it could be symbolic. Like it doesn't actually necessarily be 1-to-1 scale, right? So like he could say,
where does
the
that say
first
it's not
day I
one
did
to
this.
one scale? Where does that say that?
Well,
just quote me the verse.
well, where does it say that it is 1-to-1 scale? It doesn't say that in there
Because
either.
I just read you 2 Peter 3 verse 8. Okay, do we need to read that again?
Okay, so listen, think about them separately. So you have one verse that says that one day to God is equal to 6,000 years. You have another verse that says that God made it in 6 days, right? So here, take it like this. If you were training in, like a martial art, and let's say you only train 2 days a week, okay? And in 2 weeks, 14 days have passed, and you could still say, I've trained only 4 days in martial arts, correct?
How does this answer my question?
I'm just saying, take a look at them separately. So it could be the days of creation.
Why
That it
would we
doesn't
look at
mean
these
that it's
separately?
exactly 1-to-1.
Well, first of all, you said it doesn't
Because they're
say in there.
separate
It doesn't
verses,
say
they mean
anything
separate
about.
things.
Well, first of all,
One
you
isn't-
said earlier.
because context matters.
You said
One is
earlier
talking about
that
the
one
creation
day
universe,
does not
one-
like 1,000 years. You wanted to see the verse. I showed you the verse. So
didn't
we
say
got to
that.
kind of go back to 2 Peter 3 verse 8. Is it true that one day is like 1,000 years to God? Yes or no?
I just granted this verse to you. Sure.
Okay, so that's true. Okay,
I mean, I know
so
you don't know what Cecilia means.
on-
I know that you know
on
what
the
it
sixth
means.
day, how many years is that? On the sixth day, how many years after God started did he finish the work?
Again, they're separate. Okay, so it doesn't say here that it's referencing the creation days. The creation days can still be separate. God could have taken his time individually, just as the same as you could say, in 2 weeks I only have trained in martial arts for 4 days.
How
even though
many
14
years
days
was Genesis 2 verse 2? On the sixth day, how many years is that?
How many years is Genesis 2:2?
Yeah, when it's do you see the highlighted thing above my head?
Yeah.
How many years is that?
6 days, yes.
How many years is that?
Yeah, that doesn't signify years.
It doesn't signify years. When it says up here, one day is like 1,000 years.
No, because it's saying, yeah, one day to go. Okay, this doesn't say that, but the days of creation doesn't actually say that those are God's days. That's the amount of time that passed for God. It could simply, like I said, in the analogy I gave with martial arts, 14 days could have passed. You could have trained for only 4 days. You can claim on day 4, I learned this specific move, even though 14 days have passed.
Okay, so you're saying then that here they mean a different kind of day than here?
It doesn't. I'm not. I'm saying that would be where it would be most accurate, and I say that's a plausibility.
It would be most accurate, and what tells you that?
Exactly verbatim.
What tells you that?
I said that is I said as a possibility, right? So that's all I'm saying.
Okay, but I'm here looking for
But it's
evidence.
just a refutation
The
of your
word up there, evidence. So what is your evidence that this day here in 2 Peter 3 verse 8
Yeah,
is
I gave
different?
you my evidence for 5 different things, 5
Then-
different facts versions.
Yeah,
of
but
evidence
you're making a claim that it's different. So what is the evidence that this is, when it says on the sixth day in Genesis 2, that's a different type of day than it says in 2 Peter 3 verse 8. On the Lord, one day is like 1,000 years. So what's your evidence of that?
Yeah. So the evidence there is that it doesn't. That the Bible is completely full of many different metaphors, many different forms of types of speech, types of different writings. Right. Has a lot of imagery in it. You could take you have to take everything within a certain nuance and in a certain context. And when you apply the context of days of creation,
what's the context of
days
this
of
then?
creation are right. So days of creation would be a marker for something, as we can say, because it just says on the first day and then on the second day. It doesn't say on day 1 and on day 2. It doesn't say that. So it's not a particular. It is a time frame, but it's not within the time frame of
so
days associated.
second day and
It's just a
first day are
separate type of
different than
day.
day
It
1 and
wouldn't
day
make
2?
Yes, of course.
How?
Because within the like I said, within the context that is provided, right? So,
I'm asking you the context. You're not explaining the context. You're just saying
yeah. So I'm saying within
it's
the
different.
analogy you're presenting. Yeah, I'm
But
saying,
you're not telling
like
me
I
why
said,
it's
it
different.
could be a mark.
You're just saying it is
I
different.
am. I'm saying because it. Oh my lord, because it doesn't have to specifically mean a 1-to-1 scale. That's what I'm saying. It
Okay, so
doesn't
then what
actually
is your
state
all right?
anything in
Well,
there
then
that
what
would
is your
not
evidence of
scale.
that? I'm
So,
asking you what your evidence is. You're saying it doesn't have to be,
so
and you're saying it
right.
possibly
So
could
when I'm
be, but you're not telling me why this is different up here to this being different down here. Because when I see day, I see 1 day here, and that to me looks exactly the same as 6th day here. So I'm trying to help. I'm trying to understand the difference from what you're saying. You're just saying it's different because if you do martial arts on 1 day and then the second day, for some reason to you, that means that that's different. And so how is it different? It doesn't look different to me because yes, you're right. I could do martial arts. I could practice martial arts 2 hours a day for 3 days a week. And I would tell people I practice martial arts 3 days a week. But for some reason, you're saying to me, if I said, this is the 3rd day this week that I practice martial arts, for some reason, you're saying that's not a day.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a distinction between when you're referencing the days of the week or within a time frame asserted as like a certain day, right? So, for example, it doesn't assert a 24-hour scale to God within reference here, obviously, because God doesn't follow some kind of sun, time frame which would be the 24-hour scale that we associate today.
Where is the 24-hour
So
scale here?
Well, I'm saying that it's not there, so that's where it would be substantiated.
Okay.
That it wouldn't.
Okay. So neither of these verses have the 24-hour scale?
They use the term 1 day, and I'm saying that it doesn't have to specifically be in reference to this 24-hour scale that we use and it would probably make more logical sense considering that God made the sun. So, and like I said, it could just be a comparative from the perspective of humanity to God, not the perspective of God to humanity as within the days of creation. Do you understand?
Okay.
I need to elaborate more on that.
All right. Let me bring up a friend. I want to make a quick point. How's it going, Cyber?
So, hey, it's going. So I just want to bring up a point that, like, we get this 6 days, right? I'm not talking about how long those 6 days are. We just have these 6 days. But then it mentions that on the 7th day, God rested, right? So it's insinuating that God's working hard 6 days and then he's resting.
6 consecutive days. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Doesn't mention he worked a day and then took a rest and then worked another day, a week later and then rested. No, he works hard 6 days and then rests. And in fact, this is so important that when he's giving the law of the Sabbath to the Israelites, he makes it a point to say, hey, remember, I only rested on the 7th day. So it's important that you rest on the 7th day. Not only you, but your livestock as well. So that's all I wanted to come up and point out is that we do have a definitive time when he did rest.
Yeah.
Right,
so
to refute that, when it's saying that he did rest, so the days of rest that doesn't make any kind of separation within what I'm saying, right?
It does.
It doesn't actually associate with what I'm saying either, right? So here's the thing. So just because he took a rest on the 7th day doesn't mean it's implicit that the 6 days were consecutive, right? It could just mean that he built separately and then had a time frame for him to rest instead of building.
So then why would the Sabbath occur every 7 days then?
It could be anything like that.
But why
As
would
a matter of fact, right there, God rested from all the work he had done in creation. Again, what you're trying to insinuate, right, is that he worked like a day or two, however, and then he took a break. But that's not what the text says. You're adding that to the text because you're taking back shots right now. I'm going to hop down. Thanks for having me up.
All right. Thanks, Cyber.
Gay. Right,
so I'm trying to understand
why would that it's a possibility.
Okay,
I'm asserting that this is not, and I'm the only point of reason why I'm giving this possibility is because it's not clarified here. The only clarification we can get is the context of the verse.
Yeah,
it makes heavy distinction.
If you don't want to take words meaning words, yeah, we could say, yeah, it's possible this isn't 6 consecutive days, but then if you think about, now wasn't Sabbath based on God resting the 7th day? Wasn't that what the Sabbath was about?
Again, that doesn't mean anything. I can just simply say that it doesn't mean 7 consecutive days.
So God arbitrarily just picked the 7th day, and it has no relation at all to this.
Of course, it has a relation, but that doesn't mean that it didn't pick it arbitrarily.
So then why didn't God say, take a Sabbath? Why did he say take a Sabbath every 7 days? Yeah, I'm asking you. Then why did God take a Sabbath every 7 days?
Because he took a Sabbath on the seventh day.
He took a Sabbath on the seventh day. Right. But that's after 6 consecutive days of work, right?
No, you don't have to. What? No. Like, for example, let me give you. I can go back to this martial arts analogy, right?
This is
so
so
I can.
This is just...
if you train 2 days a week, right, in martial arts, and you burn there for 3 weeks, you can say on the, you've done 5 days before, and then on, let's just say it was a Friday, you're supposed to go in. You're like, I'm gonna take a break. I'm not gonna go in. I'm gonna stay home instead of going there. So again, the same thing can still occur. It doesn't mean anything.
It can still occur.
Be symbolic.
Yeah. Got it.
There could still be time between them.
Okay. So
again, isn't a significant rate of time. This isn't a formula you can use to calculate the age of an earth.
This doesn't explain the Sabbath. This is just
not. I just explained it to you that you can. I just explained it to you. So
yeah, this
you
is
can
within
the martial arts analogy. Okay,
yeah,
so can you steal in my martial arts analogy for me?
Huh?
You steal man and martial arts analogy for me.
What you're saying is if you. Yeah, I steel manned it earlier. I said you could say if I said if I practice martial arts 3 days this week, it doesn't mean I practice 72 hours worth of martial arts. It just means I could have done it 2 hours each day and then just called it a day. Right?
That's literally not what I'm saying, but like,
okay.
That's in the opposite direction, actually. What I'm saying is that you could, sure. That's so odd. What I'm trying to say here is that when you mark days, it's okay. Yeah, you can keep it. It looks very bad for you. When you mark days,
it looks really
on a symbolic time, especially within the word yom, as it's used in the ancient Hebrew, which is supposed to mean a symbolic day, not a 24-hour day, which is different from Yishin, which is the 24-hour day. So it's clear there's a distinction there. Obviously, this isn't my argument. I'm just saying it's possible. There is definitely a distinction, but it's possible that it could just be that it's not 1-to-1, and that's the distinction I'm making. And you're making there is an exact identity, and they're identical under the fact that there's a Sabbath, which associates a day of rest, and there is also consecutivity.
So hold on real quick. Let me attack your martial arts argument, because I used to do jiu-jitsu competitively, right? So if I was in a, what I'm saying though is if I'm in a position, hold on. What I'm saying is if I was to ever go and be like, hey, I was in the gym, X amount time over a course of boom, and then I would suddenly be like, but on this day I rested after like say 4 weeks, but trying to say that should be disingenuous, because everybody would know that if I'm only going like 2 to 3 times a week, those other let's see, if I go like 3 days a week, those other 4 days, yeah, they know I'm resting. It's right. So if I was just say, yeah, I was working so hard in the gym, 3 days a week for 4 weeks, and then on this day I rested, everybody that I roll with is going to look at me like I'm goofy, because they're going to be like, fool, you've been resting these 4 other days. Like, what do you mean you rested on this day?
Yeah, so just because there's a time break doesn't mean you're taking it. You can take a break from a specific action. That doesn't have to specifically mean. So when you're referencing the gym in martial arts, it doesn't. I'm not saying that it's a physical activity. I'm not saying that God is doing a physical activity here. He's just taking any kind of action of creation, right? So I mean, not saying.
What I'm saying is your thing doesn't work.
But my
your thing doesn't work.
He's taking X action, which is creation.
And real quick, since you know Hebrew, do you actually
each amount of time that he does X action, and then just not do the X action?
Well, real quick, since you claim to know, since you claim to know Hebrew so well, what does Genesis 1:1 actually say?
I don't know Hebrew so well. I just know how to refute this.
So Genesis 1:1 actually quite literally states, at the beginning of God's creation of the heavens and the earth. So it's like a little preface of what the chapter is about, right? And then it goes through boom, 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 the creation. But because it says at the beginning of the creation,
10 more seconds,
and then when it goes on to say, when he had finished, then he took his thing. So the Hebrew language quite literally implies that he's not stopping until the seventh day.
In the Genesis 1:1, it says, Haras, Wiet, Hamas, Amayan,
Did you forget Bereshit? Did you forget Bereshit in there at the very beginning? Did you forget Bereshit there at the very beginning?
I'm going to finish. I would actually clarify. So you understand that
okay, well, they've all voted you off, so we're going to move on to the next guest, but I appreciate you coming up.
Bereshit.
All right. So,
goodbye.
Yeah, that
was a wild argument.
That was
so just real quick, one of my favorite things to disprove the Bible, I don't know the scriptures right off the top of my head, but there's a scripture, I believe it's in Samuel, where David and his friends are on the run, and they go to the temple because they're starving, and they go to the high priest, Ahimelech. In Samuel, it says it's Ahimelech, and Ahimelech gives them the bread. But then I believe it's in Matthew, when Jesus is retelling this story, he makes a mistake, and he's retelling the same story. Oh, no, it's not Matthew. Matthew doesn't say a name. It's in Mark or Luke. But when Jesus is telling this story, he says it was Abiathar, who was Ahimelech's son, and they never served together in the priesthood.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite one because they can't get around it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, I got some good ones they can't get around, but trying to
I'm gonna hop on down.
Okay, yeah, but trying to pretzel out of, well, words don't mean words. That's the basic apologetic. So a day equals 1,000 years doesn't mean a day of great. Yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. So crazy apologetic. All right. But yeah, when we got people lying who come up, that's just even worse. That just makes it even worse. Boy. That was awful. All right, let's move on to the next one. How's it going? Hello, how's it going?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, doing well. Are you at least 18? And are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'm 26. I'm a Christian.
Okay. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
I guess, how are we defining true? Like
the dictionary definition, that which purports to fact, which points to fact and integrates with reality.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How do you define true?
Well, I mean, I would agree with you saying true, defining,
in accordance
undisputable
with
fact.
Yeah, in accordance with fact or reality, right?
Undisputable fact, correct.
Okay.
I guess the reason I was asking is just because I know that, a lot of the Bible, the New Testament specifically, a lot of it is parable.
Okay.
Jesus taught with metaphors, with analogies. I've seen people try to, both believers and non-believers, both kind of cherry pick verses, cherry pick stories, cherry pick books in the Bible where they say, Jesus spoke about, the prodigal son. But if we go through, historical records, there's no evidence that there ever was a prodigal son who took his inheritance, went to, the next city over, blew it all. And then, there's no documents to support that. But, and like that story is a parable, it's not necessarily meant to be taken as true fact, rather, what are you gaining from the story? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. All right.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. Go ahead. Finish your point.
So for me, I'm sure that, it's hard. We live in a day and age where you can get on the internet and you can find something that supports or contradicts anything that you want. I can find articles that support, things like vaccines, things that go against things like vaccines. You can find anything. So to say that something is truly factual, especially when it comes to the Bible, it gets a lot harder for me just to go based off of facts alone. I guarantee you, I've watched your debates and your videos for several months now. You're an extremely knowledgeable person.
Appreciate
you
that.
can probably talk circles around everything that I could bring up. For me, I take it personally for me.
Okay.
The Bible in my mind is true for me in my life because things that I read, whether it's be parable or whether it be documentation, or even if I'm just reading the book of Psalms where it's just King David writing down what's on his heart, to me there's substance in that.
Okay.
And in that I'm finding things that I can apply to my everyday life, as far as being a husband, as far as being a father to my little one, and so in my mind, there's enough truth in there for me to apply it to my life, that even if it is just parable, or it's hard to find facts for it, I'm still finding something of substance. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So then that means that that would mean that every holy book is true then, because other people in other religions, they get the same thing that you're getting from their holy books. That, if they're seeing metaphor, they're seeing, words of wisdom, things that they can apply to their lives, to how they raise their families, all that stuff. That means that those books are also true, right?
True to them. Yeah. I mean, I'm not one to, I just mean in the same way that I'm saying the Bible is true to me,
Okay. And so is the Bible objectively true? Like it's universally true, like independent of the mind?
If you take historical documentation that is outside of the Bible, that shows things like Jesus actually walking around, performing miracles, being an actual person. I know that Jesus even, is mentioned in other holy texts. For 500 witnesses to see him rise, and then those people, a lot of them, risk being put to death, and some of them being put to death just for believing in that fact. Both for that to be documented, both inside the Bible and also outside of the Bible, is enough truth for me to give my attention and to give my.
We don't have evidence outside of the Bible of 500 witnesses, though. So that's not verified, right? We don't have I don't know of any text outside of the Bible that claims that 500 witnesses saw Jesus. Just be sure to come back, Cameron, so I can hear you. Just come back to the app.
Sorry, I was trying to.
No worries.
Get on Google. I was cleaning my house when I joined. I don't have all the sources just right on hand.
Well, it's kind of like this. Like if you said to the, if you said in court, there are 500 witnesses to this crime, the court would want names, right? They would want names. They would want to interview those witnesses. They want to cross-examine them, all that stuff, right? And we don't have any of that in the Bible. It's just a claim. So how do we know that's true?
Sure. What about all of the different documentations of Jesus, the man himself, is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so we can say that Jesus was a person who existed, walked the earth. How do we know that Jesus rose from the dead and ascended into heaven, though?
Like I said, I don't have the source on me. I do know that I saw. I don't know if it was a documentary or just a little special that was done, but there were texts found outside of the Bible, and again, I'd be happy to pull them up and find them. Next time I catch you on a live, but it was just going through and talking about seeing Jesus in the 3 years that he was doing his ministry, as well as after the 3 days for the 40 before he he ascended back up. Again, I wish that I had the evidence to find for you. I don't want to waste any of your time by trying to
okay.
put myself on pause.
I appreciate that. Okay. What do you want to do that? You want to come? Because I'm on 4 or 5 days a week. So you can, if you want, you can come back with your evidence and we can.
No,
I
would be.
You want to do that?
I'd be happy to, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
For sure.
I love that.
Are you? Yeah. Are you doing all right this week? You doing good?
Yeah, I am doing well. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good, man.
How about you?
Yeah. I'm doing great. I'm cleaning my house up a little bit. I got my son is running around, and we are
house
just
is a happy house. There you go,
buddy. Let me tell you what. It's a perpetual state of cleaning. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like painting a bridge, right?
Oh, it is. And I'll tell you, I have never watched the movie Cars so many times in my life as I have over the past couple of weeks. That's what we're big into right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember those days.
Big Lightning McQueen fan over here. All time greatest Piston Cup racer.
Well, he's got good taste, so that's good. That's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Cameron, I'll let you get back to it. But yeah, come back and when you have some like documents we can explore and talk about, and then we could go from there.
Absolutely, Trust. I appreciate you, brother. You have a good rest of your day. All right.
Have a good rest of your day. Take care. All right. So, it's cool. It's just kind of way of saying, hey, I don't have it right now, but that's cool. Yeah, we can put a pause and then come back. All right, on to the next guest. So, thank you, Kieran. It's good to see you, friend. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, brother. Doing good?
All right. Doing well. Thanks. And are you at least 18 and are you a Christian?
Yes, sir. I'm 19 years old and I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Okay, fantastic. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Okay, so I do want to say, first off, it does require a bit of faith. I cannot tell you that a historical record is 100% true. But the fact of the matter is that the Bible is a historical record, and it takes time. It took a lot of people, a lot of testimonies, and a lot of time to write.
Okay, so then the Bhagavad Gita is a historical record as well. It's considered one, so that's true. 100% true, right?
I cannot say that what this book says is true, but I can say that if it was a historical record, that it is true, and that the book itself was written by people, just like the Bible.
Yeah, it's considered a historical record. Hindus consider it a historical record, so that means the Bhagavad Gita is true. Krishna is a real god. Vishnu is a real god. Shiva is a real god. Ganesh is a real god. Yeah.
I will not say that. I can say the Bible as the book is true, and I can't say that other book that I don't know by the name. Sorry.
Bhagavad Gita
is true. Bhagavad Gita. Okay.
Bhagavad Gita.
But what I can't say is that what the book says is true. So now, the Bible has a lot of scriptures and a lot of testimonies. I'm guessing just like this other book, it has a lot of evidence to prove it's true. But what can I say that why can I say that what the Bible says is true? So there's a lot of things like moral laws, for example, morality, that the Bible talks about that is God-given. And I have to believe that there's a creator. Why? Because if I ask you, sir, if you see a car passing along the highway, do you think that car could have ever been created by itself?
No.
Correct.
And why do we think that though? Like what are the clues that we have that tell us that this car could not have just popped into existence by itself?
There's a creator.
Yeah, and what clues are there? Yeah.
Mankind creating cars.
Okay. Yeah. And so we've witnessed people create cars, right? I've seen commercials of like Ford and Toyota, and there's people literally assembling cars in a plant, right? Seen it on the news. So that's one piece of evidence, right? We could probably contact the manufacturers, and maybe if we ask it kindly enough, we could probably get them to show us blueprints of these cars, right? Maybe not like they won't give us the blueprints, but we can at least see them. We could take a tour of the plant and watch cars being produced. And then there's other things like alloys, right? Most cars are made out of metal alloys, combining two metals together, which do not occur in nature. So all of those things are clues that cars did not just pop into existence, that we have manufactured and created cars. That I agree with. So what clues do you have that, say, a tree was manufactured?
I have a clue, and the fact is that there is much more impact data. There's a lot more cells and a lot more data in a tree than there is in a car. So much cells. And even just in the human eye, there is so much information put into one amount of space than a car, which we can argue it can't be made by itself because it has so much intelligence needed to create.
Okay. Well, because because I mean, cars don't have cells, right? They're made out of atoms and particles and things like that, but not cells, because it's not a living thing. Trees are made of cells. But I'm trying to understand, because, you've never seen a cell made, right?
No, I have never seen a cell made.
Yeah, and but we can see cars being made. So how do you know that tree cells are made and not?
Well, I think the argument is that we need a creator, because it would not make sense for this to happen all by accident. There's a lot of people that believe that the Big Bang Theory is real. Mm-hmm. I would say that takes a lot of faith. Why? Because we never saw the Big Bang.
You never saw it? Because we haven't seen it, that means that it takes faith because we haven't seen it.
Following your argument, yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So,
it takes faith to believe in God's fact.
What's the difference between, in your mind, what's the difference between seeing and observing?
I don't know. What do you tell me? Because I want to hear your point.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Observation is like seeing is literally with our eyes, right?
Right.
Or maybe even feeling, but observing, like we can observe the Big Bang because we're seeing celestial bodies moving apart from each other. We have something called the cosmic microwave background radiation. We also have the DESI data. So we've got evidence that the Big Bang occurred. And also elements that could not have appeared in the universe without something like the Big Bang. Right? So if there was no Big Bang, there would be like certain elements on the periodic table would not exist. So that's how we have excellent evidence, like multiple pieces of evidence that the Big Bang occurred. And so, yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
But does it take faith to believe that evidence is truly evidence, and why?
I wouldn't say no. I would say no. And the reason why is because if you look at the definition of faith, how do you define faith?
I think faith is something that you choose to believe. It can be anything. You can have faith in your brother, like my brother standing right next to me. I can have faith in him that he can protect me sometime. I think that is believing that he can have... You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I ran out of words.
No, it's okay. Let me ask you.
It's something that you choose to believe in.
Okay. Is then, would you say that Hebrews 11:1 is a true statement? It's a true passage. It says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Okay. Can I have a second to search that up real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. I can pull it up on the screen if you need to see it.
Actually, that would help me so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So then you don't have to go away from the app and all that stuff. And okay, so Hebrews. Oh, my keyboard's not working right today. 11:1. Chat, I just realized that it's going to be going on 5 years that I've had this laptop. So it's getting close to that time that I'm going to get a new one.
Might be time for an upgrade, yes, sir.
Might be time, yeah. You're right. Okay, so here's Hebrews 11:1. You see it above my head?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now this says assurance, but other translations say substance. So you can, and I think it's interchangeable. Yeah. Or reality. You can say reality or evidence. So faith is the assurance, reality, evidence, substance of things hoped for, the conviction of things or evidence of things not seen. So
Okay.
does that sound right to you?
Yes, sir. That sounds right.
Okay. So yeah. And so the other way you can think about this is that it's belief without evidence. And so that's why I wouldn't call belief in the Big Bang faith, because we have evidence that it happened. And so I wouldn't call that faith. Like we're not plugging in gaps. We have strong evidence that it has occurred.
Okay, but to a certain extent, you have to kind of believe that evidence is true, because we can't really go back in time and say, I saw the Big Bang happen, right? And we don't know how long ago it happened.
Right.
So of course, I think it does take faith a little bit, not definitely as much as saying I have not seen God.
Well, like I said, we have evidence that the Big Bang happened, and so that just goes against what this says here. This is belief without evidence. So we have evidence that the Big Bang happened. And now you're saying, well, you got to take faith that the evidence is true. Now, if we have multiple scientists who all have affirmed in this evidence, they've all confirmed that it's real, are you saying that we're not to believe them?
Can I interrupt you real quick, and can I read the next 2 verses in Hebrews 11?
Sure.
All right, so the next 2 verses, we already read the first one. I hope we took that in right. The next 2 verses say, this is what ancients were commended for. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. So that is what was seen and not made out of what is visible.
Right. So, but I think this is kind of underlining what we're talking about here. So this is kind of confirming what you're saying, that
But
you
can I
have
read
faith.
4?
Yeah.
Actually, never mind. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's just confirmed what you were saying, that you're just choosing to believe that God created this world, even though you don't really have evidence for it.
I believe there is evidence because I, as a Christian, have committed my life to Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I don't necessarily put my faith in religion, but I do put my faith, I am a Christian because I put my faith in Jesus Christ. And the evidence is that Jesus Christ did roam, and he did die, and he did resurrect.
We have evidence that he resurrected. What evidence is that?
That's right.
Because I won't fight you on Jesus existing. I know some people will, but I won't. I'm agnostic to it, but we'll just say he did. What's your evidence that he resurrected?
500 people were willing to die.
Okay.
For Jesus.
So then that means got it. So that means the Emperor Nero rose from the dead too, right? Because 30,000 people actually died believing that Nero rose from the dead. They were witnesses to that. So that means
is a very good argument.
Yeah, so that means Nero rose from the dead, right?
Do you know exactly who Nero is?
Yeah, he was the emperor of Rome, and he was the mad emperor who played the violin or the fiddle while the city of Rome burned. That's according to the legend. I'm not sure if that actually happened, but that's what he's most known for.
So he's a real person, or
yeah, he actually existed. Nero actually existed. Yes. So there were claims that Nero, after Nero was executed or killed, that he rose from the dead. And actually, what happened was the resurrected Nero led a uprising against the Roman Empire and tried to take Rome by force. And 30,000 people were. He built an army of 30,000 people. So that means that Nero was actually resurrected, right?
I can't tell you that did happen because I don't know.
Well,
I don't know a lot about this.
Yeah, but there's witnesses.
Sure. But
yeah,
I don't know anything about the story. If it's a story, if it's actually something that happened, I don't know.
Yeah, it actually happened. You can look it up. Yeah, it actually happened.
Perfect. But I don't know the context. So I can't tell you yes or no.
What context do you need to know whether or not Nero resurrected? What context would you need?
I'm just going to say I don't believe. I don't believe that.
You don't believe it? Okay. Well,
I'm sorry.
So help me out here, because it's the same level of evidence you just gave for Jesus resurrecting from the dead, and you believe that. But I actually gave you more evidence, because there's, instead of 500, there's 30,000 people who witnessed the resurrected Nero and followed him into battle. And you're telling me you don't believe that he resurrected from the dead?
No.
Well, what's
Sorry,
the
I have my
difference?
friend here. He's
No,
actually
that's good.
giving me
And hey, I can talk to both of you if
knowledge.
you want. I can talk to both you and your friend. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to point that out because there's a lot of people that saying it in the chat.
No, that's fine.
He is more
Yeah, yeah.
knowledgeable than me. So I will
Okay.
not lie.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to understand why it's different because we're using the same level of evidence. But why is it different for you that Jesus rose from the dead because of 500 witnesses, but then on the other hand, no, Nero did not rise from the dead with 30,000 witnesses? Why is it different?
We could say that Jesus, first off, existed. That's what we need to know for us to know that
Nero.
he resurrected.
Mm-hmm. Nero did too.
Because there's more religions and other concepts and ideation and historical records that Jesus did wrong. Now, Jesus is the most historical record, evidence. He has the most evidence for him to roaming out of all humans in the planet.
How so?
There's more evidence. I mean, historically.
Well,
Now,
we don't know Well, we don't have a birth certificate of Jesus. Like, we have no official government records of him existing. We have official government records of Nero existing. We have official government records of Julius Caesar existing. We have contemporary writings from Julius Caesar. We have contemporary writings of people who...
We have the Roman census.
Yeah, we have the Roman senators. The Roman census? What Roman census do we have of Jesus existing?
I mean, the reason they were traveling to Bethlehem in the first place is because they were going for the census, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, which census? Was it under Herod or Quirinius?
I actually forgot. I know I've seen it.
Well, you would have to say both because according to the Gospels, Joseph went for a census under Herod's rule and also went to a census under Quirinius's rule. Now, the problem with that is that those two censuses were 10 years apart. So which one did Joseph go to?
I have no idea. Do you know? Can you tell us that?
Well, that's why I think the Bible isn't true, because he could not have gone to both, because in both Gospels, Jesus was a baby. So that would have, or actually, it's either that or Mary was pregnant. It's one of the two. But that would have meant then that if you have to say either one is true or the other isn't, or if both are true, that means Mary was pregnant for 10 years. So which one is it?
Well, I can't say that Mary was pregnant because of something called divine intervention.
Divine intervention?
What is that?
Okay.
That is when God, for example, a miracle. We can say that Mary is a virgin and she was pregnant. She was not necessarily maybe impregnated, but she was pregnant. Why? Because of a miracle.
Let's take a look at the verses. Yeah, go ahead and finish what you're saying. I'm going to look up the verses real quick.
Do you want to go ahead?
No. I'm going to look up the two verses, and then we can compare them, and then you can tell me which one is true.
Well, I don't know 100%. I'm going to say this. I don't know 100% because I don't know exactly what it says. But what I can say is that, yes, it was a miracle.
It was a miracle? But what was a miracle? That she was a virgin? Well, what I'm talking about is which census. Yeah, which census did they go to? That's what I'm trying to understand. You don't know?
No, I do not know.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm trying to understand which gospel is true. So it's Matthew 2:1 and Luke.
I can't clarify that.
You can't clarify that?
Gospels? I can. Gospels are different testimonies of different people, written by different people from different times. Now, what I mean by that, the disciples, they watched Jesus' story, and they took note of it. And so the Gospels were written by other people in that time that had access to what Jesus taught, did, etc.
Okay.
So
So
not every gospel was written by the same person.
okay. So when was Jesus born? Was he born while King Herod ruled, or was he born when Quirinius ruled? Which one did
I do
he?
not
Which
know.
You don't know?
No,
Well,
sir. I do
because
not know.
well, we have two conflicting accounts then, because he couldn't have been born twice, right?
Sure. Yes.
Right.
Have
So
been
it says here,
it
in the
doesn't
time of King
necessarily
Herod.
say-
Well, it says here. Well, let's read Matthew 2. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. Is that true?
Okay. So after Jesus was born
In Bethlehem.
in Bethlehem,
Yeah. In the time of King Herod. So is that true or not true?
right after Jesus was born, true. That's what the Bible says.
Okay, and he was born in the time of King Herod, right?
No, he was born after.
It says in
It
the
says
time
there
of,
after
well,
Jesus was born.
Yeah. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. So when they're saying after Jesus was born, the Magi came from the east to Jerusalem, right? Which is true. Yeah. Sure. Which that was the reason they came from the east, right? Was to see Jesus. So it would make sense that it was after Jesus was born, the Magi came. But it says in the time of King Herod. So was Jesus born in the time of King Herod?
Jesus was roaming in the time of King Herod.
He was born in the time of King Herod. Okay. So then let's go look at Luke. In those days, a decree went out from the Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration that was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. So is that true?
Sure. Now I have a question. Governor of Syria. Said King Herod was. Can I go back? Can you go back,
no,
please? King
Herod and Quirinius. So King Herod right here and Quirinius right here. They ruled 10 years apart.
Did they rule in the same place?
It doesn't matter if they ruled in the same place. They ruled at different times. So
well, I can say that yes, it could have been that they were ruling in the same place. I don't know.
Okay.
But,
well, how can this be true
Sorry.
if they were at completely different times? So when King Herod was ruling, Quirinius was not ruling. Okay. And then when Quirinius was the governor of Syria, King Herod was not a king.
And that is according to?
It's according to historical records. We have verified outside historical sources of that. So that's what I'm trying to ask you is which one is true? I mean, this you can look up. Yeah, this you can look up.
Because in Matthew 2:1, it doesn't necessarily say that Jesus was born in that time. I mean, don't get me wrong. We haven't read the full chapter. We haven't analyzed it completely. And I don't want to take away from your time.
Well, hold on. It says in the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So you're saying Jesus was not born in the time of King Herod? Because you just said he was.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Jesus was born after.
No. It says here, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Magi came from the east to Jerusalem. They're talking about the Magi. Okay. 3 wise men. They came from the east after Jesus was born. But that's not the contention here. The contention here was whether or not Jesus was born in the time of King Herod or not. And you had just said earlier that he was.
I can tell you he was alive. Yep. He was alive. Jesus was alive.
Jesus was born in the time of King Herod. Okay? So it says here, now if you read this though, it says here, this was the first registration that was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. Who was that child?
Okay. Obviously Jesus.
Obviously Jesus. So if Quirinius and Herod ruled 10 years apart, then are you saying to me that A, Joseph registered twice, And B, Mary was pregnant for 10 years.
Well, we can't assume he did register twice. We can't assume.
So then
Now,
that means Mary was
for
pregnant for 10 years.
Obviously not. But
Okay.
what
So
I
which
can
one is
say is that
okay? So which one is true? They both can't be true.
well, it says
which
they're
one?
both happened.
Moana 2.
Now maybe. I mean, it doesn't necessarily say that Quirinius and what was Herod were ruling in different times, right? Now, because
it doesn't
of
say in
this
the Bible that they ruled at
historical
different
record of
times.
the
That is
Bible-
correct. What I'm saying though is that they did. Hey, there's some background noise. Could you maybe step outside or get away from the background noise? It's a little distracting.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not me. That's someone.
I know. I understand. That's why I'm asking you to, because it's getting distracting. So.
No, I mean, there's someone else in the TikTok.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. My bad. I think it was my friend 3Pips who requested it by accident. Okay. I just muted him. Okay. My fault. It wasn't you. My bad.
It's okay. No worries.
Back to you. Okay. So we got rid of that. We got rid of that part. So what I'm asking you though is we have historical evidence verified outside of the Bible that Quirinius and Herod ruled 10 years apart. So that's why I'm asking you. Was Jesus born around the time Herod was ruling, or was Mary still pregnant when 10 years later Quirinius was in power?
Well, according to the Bible, I'd have to believe, because of my faith, that both ruled at the same time in different places.
That both ruled at the same time. Okay. And so why would there be evidence to the contrary?
Well, I do not know why there could be evidence to that, but what I do know is that the Bible says this, the other thing says something different, and I'm choosing to put my faith in the Bible.
Okay.
Which has more evidence and more.
Oh, go ahead and finish your thought, and then my friend Cyber wants to pipe in with a little tidbit. But go ahead. Azio.
The Bible contains a lot more proof for it being real because of the historical evidence.
Okay.
Well,
just one thing. Sorry, Cyber. One thing. We're looking at historical evidence right now, and the historical evidence that you're looking at in the Bible, it contradicts what evidence that we have of these, because we have verified that these two people existed. We have verified that they ruled in the times that they ruled, right, and the years that they ruled, and we have verified that it's 10 years apart. So I'm trying to understand from your perspective why, which one is true, which one isn't true.
Well, obviously, because of my faith, I'm going to choose that the Bible is true. But can I ask you, what is the method of verification that we have, or how did they find out that these two kings ruled 10 years separately?
I'm glad you asked.
Cyber, and perfect timing. What a segue. Go ahead, Cyber.
Yeah,
I didn't hear him, sorry.
Yeah, so the evidence that we have is we have two historians, one named Josephus, one named Tacitus. Both of these historians write extensively about Herod and Quirinius. We know that Herod passed away around 4 BCE. And when Herod passed away, his son, Herod Archelaus, along with two of his other sons, but Herod Archelaus is the important one, Herod Archelaus became the ruler of Judea. And Herod Archelaus did such a horrible job that Rome literally kicked him out of power and exiled him and brought in Quirinius, made Quirinius the governor of Syria, and made Judea part of Syria. Now, so that's how we know. Now, second, this was in 6.
But I have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
6 CE,
Do we know that? Sorry, what was Quirinius? Is that how you pronounce it?
Quirinius. Yeah, it's
Quirinius.
Quirinius.
Yeah.
Quirinius. Did he rule somewhere else, like in Syria?
No. In fact, during the reign of Herod, he was in a military campaign in northern Asia Minor and modern-day Turkey.
Yes.
And we have this through inscriptions that have been found bearing his name in this military campaign. So
well, there could be many names.
Because this is Publius Sulpicius Quirinius. So
Yeah,
it's
it uses
not.
his full name.
Yeah, he uses his full name. Can't mistake him for another Quirinius, which is a pretty good like ask about that, because yeah, there were multiple people named Quirinius who were like in the army and things of that sort, but we know this is the same Publius Sulpicius Quirinius because the names match.
And what's even more problematic with Luke is that if Quirinius is the governor in 6 CE, and if this is when Jesus was born, well, the Gospels tell us that Jesus started his ministry when he was 30. His ministry lasted roughly 3 years. So this puts us at 39 CE when he's being, 39 when he's being crucified. The problem is that Pilate was removed from Judea in 36, and he passed away in Rome in 39. So according to Luke's narrative, there is no way that Pilate could have tried Jesus. It's impossible.
Yes, it's
because
impossible.
he wasn't even in Judea.
Yeah, this is what we call an anachronism.
Yep.
Okay, but
So-
my question
so-
is, then why do the names match in the story of Jesus?
Because
do you mean?
they were copied.
The names were copied.
Yeah, they were copied from
What's your
someplace
evidence
else.
that the names were copied?
The evidence
Yeah,
that
it's
we
just
have.
mythology.
Yeah, we have evidence that the other gospels were copied from Mark, because we know. And interesting that you bring that up, because one of our good friends, Christ Before Jesus, conducted a stylometry on the gospels, in which he and his partner were able to gather evidence on when these gospels were written, because they looked at like the writing style and things of that sort, like what kind of idioms were used, what kind of language was used, the names, etc. And among the things that they were able to kind of pin down was when these gospels were written and who they were, and they've also were able to figure out that they were copied. And a lot of scholars concur with that the gospels were copied from, at least in part, at minimum in part. And Cyber, you can correct me on this, but at minimum in part they were copied from Mark.
Well, I can tell you that the Gospels were written by different people, different testimonies that came from different people, and then those different people wrote from the testimonies of the other people. So actually, when you look at, I don't know if it was Mark or Matthew, this is historical evidence, like scientific facts. The person that wrote one of these books, I don't remember which one it was, wasn't one of the disciples. It was actually someone that took testimony from one of these disciples, even
Fun
after
fact,
they died.
two of them were not followers of Christ, Mark and Luke. Mark was a translator for Peter and the cousin of Barnabas, and Luke was a traveling companion of Paul. But the issue that you run into, right, is one, first of all, even Christian scholars will just tell you that that Luke gets it wrong, that Luke's wrong. But the issue that you run into is, do you remember what the title of the background is for this live? What's the background of the live?
What's your best evidence the Bible is 100% real or true?
Correct. And you just acknowledged, right? That these are people that are taking the testimony and their writing is from a different perspective. So I don't know if you realize it or not, but you just conceded that one of them has to be wrong. You just said one of them is wrong.
No, not one of them has to be wrong, because there are different witnesses and there are different people that watched Jesus live, die, and rise from the dead.
Hold on,
So
Luke and Mark did it. Luke and Mark didn't know Jesus. Luke and Mark didn't know Jesus.
Yeah, they didn't know him.
No, but guess what? They found notes and evidence and stories written by who? The disciples. After the disciples,
No, they haven't.
carried on the message.
Can you give me the name? Can you give me the name of the papyrus that would show this?
No, sir.
All right.
Right. If you can't find it, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Asiel, the poll has spoken, and so they've decided to move on. But hey, I appreciate you coming up. But I appreciate
no problem.
I appreciate the
I hope
polite
we
conversation.
can
Yeah,
talk
it was
again.
polite and cordial. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All
I'll
right.
be taking notes of this because I am trying to learn. But
Yeah,
have a
and
nice day. Yes, sir.
if there's anything more, just come on back and we can talk more. So have a good day.
All right, for sure, man. God bless.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks
Well, I'm
for.
gonna head down. I'm gonna head back down. Real knock knock.
Okay, and everybody before he goes, follow him. So just chase him out with follows. But
Yeah,
appreciate you.
I am like 200 followers away from 10,000.
Oh, we okay. We definitely, and we have 200 people here. So if everybody follows Cyber right now, and I know a bunch of you already are following Cyber, but we can at least get him a big chunk of that goal, because I think, except Zach. So now more people have to follow Cyber because Zach is going to unfollow Cyber. But I think it's really because Zach wants to be the 10,000th follower. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is, because he wants to forever hold that over you, Cyber. But yes, everybody, please, if you're not following Cyber, please do. And we can get him closer to 10K.
It might be because earlier I mentioned that like Zach is like the Jewish space laser, and whenever it gets used, you're just going to have Zach come down and stand outside your door and do some voice acting and then beam back up. Like that's how this is going to happen.
I mean, it's absolutely, absolutely. And no unfollowing and refollowing Cyber. That's not fair. So why don't you follow him? Don't unfollow him. This is for the folks who don't follow Cyber now. So, all right. You going to drop down, friend? You going to stay up? You're welcome to do either or.
I'm at work, so I'll go ahead and drop back down so I'm not like live and driving, but
fair. Okay. Well, until next time, until you come back, probably very soon.
Yep.
So, thanks, Cyber.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Zach, no all caps, but that's said out of respect and love, because you are one of our friends in the community. So where are we at? Oh, let's see who we got in the guest queue, because if we're empty, I may switch over. I may switch over anyway, because I said I was going to switch over and talk some deconstruction for a while. But you know what? We have one more in the queue. So we'll take this last guest here that's in the queue, and then we'll switch over to deconstruction. How about that? How about that, chat? I think that's a good plan, because we definitely need to talk more about deconstruction. So, okay. Let's bring this guest up. How's it going?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thanks for waiting.
Cool. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, first of all, free Palestine, abolish ICE. I want to bring it back to what you said about the verse that you were talking about, Herod.
Yeah.
If you could bring that up on the screen again, please.
Yeah, sure. Are you just to verify, you're at least 18? And
yeah, I'm 24.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see, where was that? I think this is it right here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so let's bring that back up. And now, are you saying that the Bible is 100% true?
I don't necessarily believe that. I just wanted to bring up this one verse that I saw you discussing with this previous dude. Okay. And I wanted to point something out that I didn't know if you were like, respectfully, I didn't know if you were like grammatically like not sure about how some sentences can be constructed, or if you were just like purposely kind of like trolling this guy, or maybe using his less knowledge against him. But in this sentence, it does say, in the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. So the way this sentence is constructed is that after that first comma, it's giving you context. It's not saying that directly in that time that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. It's cutting the sentence, and then when the second comma comes, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. That is when the time of King Herod was stated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's what we're saying, is that this Jesus was born, according to Matthew, in the time of King Herod, and that's what it says. And because if you keep reading, it says in verse 3, when King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him, and calling together all the chief priests and scribes, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. So that tells you right there, Matthew is claiming that Jesus was born in the time of King Herod, right?
So that first sentence, it's like saying, in the time of Donald Trump, after you were born, he picked up your daughter from school.
Okay.
Were you
And
born in the time of Donald Trump?
I actually was, yeah.
Yeah, you were born in the time of Donald Trump when he was president, I meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so in verses 3 and 4, it says, when King Herod heard this, because the Magi are asking, where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star in the east and have come to pay him homage. So what age was Jesus when the 3 wise men visited him?
I don't know.
He was a baby.
He was just born, yeah.
Yeah, he was just born, right? So, and it says here, where is the child who has been born, right? So when King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. Okay, so it says it clearly right here. So this is telling us that King Herod heard that there was a child who has been born King of the Jews. That's what this is referring to. And then he called together all the chief priests and scribes. He inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, Bethlehem of Judea, for it has so been written by the prophet, which we can get into that. But, and where was Jesus born? After Jesus was born in Bethlehem. So this is clearly telling us that Jesus was born in the time of King Herod.
I guess that's just where the disconnect is. The way that I see that this sentence is constructed does not tell me that he was born in the time of King Herod.
Okay, so
it tells me that he was
how old
this
was Jesus?
Situation.
This situation.
Tells
I'm sorry.
me that
Go ahead.
It tells me that the Magi from the east came to Jerusalem in the time of King Herod, and that statement where he was born in Bethlehem of Judea doesn't really, it's just for context.
Okay. So what context is that?
It's just background context. I'm not entirely sure. I don't
Background context? Okay. So if King Herod, we have verified King Herod was ruling in 4 BCE. So when was Jesus born?
It would just be on the turn of the century or turn of
the century. Okay. So if Jesus was born around the turn of the century, which would be around 0.
Yes.
Okay. Then if right around 4 BCE, why then, because King Herod didn't make it to 0. So then why would King Herod be saying, when King Herod heard this, heard what? What did King Herod hear?
So you're saying King Herod passed what? 0 BC or 0.
He didn't make it to 0
whatever
BC.
things.
He didn't make it.
Okay, so he passed.
We know that for a fact. So what I'm saying to you is that it was right around 4 BCE. So when it says here, when King Herod heard this, what did he hear?
That Jesus was born,
That Jesus was born, exactly. So that means that if he didn't make it to past 4 BCE, Jesus could not have been born any later than what year?
Right, 0.
4 BCE. Could not have been born any later than that. Okay? So it was at least 4 BCE or earlier that he was born. Okay, so
that makes sense to me.
If it was in the time of King Herod. All right. So now if we then proceed down to, that's just all of
that was like
2.
the only thing that stuck out to me. I guess like with the sentence itself, without the rest of it, doesn't, I don't know, it just seemed very different.
Okay.
Like the one sentence by itself doesn't make sense to me by itself, but when it's added to the rest, it makes more sense.
It makes a lot more sense. So now it's clear to you that it says that Jesus was born according to Matthew. Jesus was born while King Herod was alive. Okay. And then it says here that in Luke, it says here, Quirinius was the governor of Syria. That was 10 years later.
Right. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask that question and have it cleared up.
I got you. Okay. So you do see that these two conflict with each other.
Yes, they definitely do. I definitely agree with that.
Fantastic.
So
All right.
yeah, thank you for showing me the rest of that
Yeah,
verse.
yeah,
Because
yeah. You got
by
it.
itself, I don't know
I got you.
like
I
why
see
it's
what
like
you mean.
singled out, but once it's brought into like the grand scheme of things, it makes
Yeah.
more sense for sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Well, hey, yeah, I
All right.
appreciate you clearing that up. All right. Well,
Yep,
hey,
yep.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming up. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
All right. Well, that was easy. So chat, that was pretty productive. We went through different parts of the Bible that don't add up, and we didn't get very good answers, did we? In fact, we got some pretty terrible answers. But you know what's just really wild about that is that the folks who came in still said, no, the Bible is still 100% true. How is that possible? Like, how is that possible? How can you say that the Bible is 100% true? So that's the crazy part to me, right? Let's do share your deconstruction story. How about that? Okay. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about deconstruction today, because I think that's a good thing to talk about. And this is I think we need more like play for that, right? And it's a little big. So let me try and fix that. Okay, I just completely butchered my stuff here. So okay. So there we go. And then we'll shrink it a little bit so that it shows up. It's a little better. Try and fix that. How's that, chat? All right, so TikTok chat, can you see that okay on your screens? How does that look? Cuts off at the R? Oh, so the Y is still, okay. Because see, when I use the mobile preview on TikTok Live Studio, it shows it as, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. So here, let me shrink it a little more. Okay, how's that? Is that better? You should be able to see the whole sentence now. And then I'll turn off the rules too, because we don't really have rules today for this part. And I'll even turn off the timer. So we'll just do it like that. How's that look, chat? Is that better? And I think we should talk about like deconstruction and all that stuff, like how you deconstructed, like what got you there. I mean, I can start, but I do have somebody that's in the guest queue. So maybe we'll just go there. We'll just bring up Mr. Agnostic and we can talk to him. And we can also do like questions too. So how's it going, Mr. Agnostic?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, nice live. I was watching for like 30 minutes and the point to give a nice. So yeah, basically my deconstruction story. So yeah, I'm 20 now, or I'm going to be 20 in like 2 weeks, basically. When I was like 18, 17, what really caused it was basically biology. Basically, I didn't really care much about contradictions, but just stories from Adam and Eve, because I believe in evolution, and currently I'm a medical genetics student, and we learn about biology, evolution, and all. I'm like, if evolution happened, that means Adam and Eve never existed. If they never existed, so there was no fall of man. If there was no fall of man, there was no need for Jesus to come and die. And if God is all powerful and all knowing, he doesn't need to kill himself to save what he created. So it didn't really make sense to me. Then I started learning about stories like Noah, how it's related to Epic of Gilgamesh. So basically Mesopotamian myths, and I'm like, if this Bible is supposed to be inherent and supposed to be the word of God, why does it have so much problems attached to it? Then you then go to the the laws that God gave to the people of Israel. I'm like, why kill animals to forgive sins? Why stigmatize women for natural things like menstruation? I'm like, it doesn't make sense. If this God is all loving, all powerful, all knowing, he doesn't need to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then what also confused that always breaks me a bit was miracles and all, but I'm like, if miracles happen and God can say probably heal someone, why can't he come from Nigeria, right? And there's a lot of problems. People get more. I don't know if can I say the word murder?
Why don't we be safe and just say schmurder?
Oh yeah, smarter in states in Nigeria. People get smarter like literally every day. I'm like, if this God is all loving, all powerful, and he does miracles of people, why can't he save innocent people? So
yeah,
even
and,
if it existed,
and it's my understanding that Christianity is spreading like wildfire in Africa. That's my understanding.
Yeah, it's because it's more of like a show. It's like how explain it now. So for instance, if there was someone doing something that, like for instance, a miracle, for instance, because miracles are what brings people to churches, right? So there's this guy called Pastor Jerry, right? So he has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of prayers, and because he has people coming to give testimonies of getting healed from cancer or whatever, people keep coming. He keeps making money, and people still, and they release more testimonies. So it's kind of that cycle of, it's more like a business in Africa. So people, but and also the problem in Africa is poverty. So everybody wants something that can maybe solve that problem, and they feel praying and maybe worshiping God will help them solve the problem instead of actually working for themselves and doing what they need to do. So that's it's more,
Well, I do have, I do hear a lot of people with like, speaking English with the African accent. And so, I can hear like, they'll tell me like South Africa, Nigeria, etc. And what's really disheartening is just the, like you said, it's just that it just sounds like it's a business, and there's a lot of faith healing that's going on, which I think is a complete racket. Like faith healing is just an absolute racket. And, and then we get these, guests who come up and, they just can't admit that there is a contradiction just staring staring at them right in the face. And, it's very disheartening because I think that these people are vulnerable and they're prey.
Yeah, they tend to. And what really gets me annoyed is when you start supporting evil. I don't use the word evil, but let me use the word socially unacceptable things like slavery. Like literally Africans, bro, they literally came to your country, took you guys, punished people, and you still end up supporting slavery. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And if I should ask a person right now, would you agree to being enslaved? They will say no, but they end up supporting the Bible. I'm like, it's just crazy to me, honestly.
Right.
My own point is science or biology basically has a way of disapproving a lot of things, especially from the beginning, because the whole idea of Christianity is God coming to save people from sin that was caused by Eve eating a fruit. I'm like, if that didn't happen, so the whole idea or the reason for Christianity just falls apart, because it's like, and if God is all knowing, he doesn't need to kill himself to stop what he caused. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand. Yeah.
So save himself. Yeah, he had to sacrifice himself to save himself from himself.
It makes no sense. Like, it's so like illogical. So when you try to explain to people, they just, like, I was speaking to someone recently and he was asking me, because I asked him that I feel the God of the Bible is evil, and it was like, what's your definition of evil? And I'm like, because they feel as an agnostic person, because I choose to be agnostic because I can't say if there is a creator, or I can't say there isn't, because I don't want to give an answer to that. That's why I'm rather agnostic. I'm like more on defense. So he kept asking me questions that didn't make sense. I'm like, bro, I just can't, because Christians just tend to suspend their brains and just speak out of emotion. And honestly, I'm not really good at arguing with people on things that don't make sense to me. So it's really great that you do what you do, because honestly, I don't think I have the patience or the strength to actually argue with people with things that don't make sense. Like if you tell people about evolution or evolutionary biology, they say you're literally reading out somebody else's work. I'm like, bro, you can literally prove all this stuff. Literally use experiments to prove a lot of evolutionary biology, and I'm like, I can't just argue. But yeah, right now I'm really using a different account because I have an original account, but I use a different account because I've not told my parents yet that I'm agnostic. Because
Yeah.
as an African who, so I'm in uni right now, and I'm like, once I'm done with uni, have a job, I'm not financially reliant on them, then I'll probably tell them about my whole reason, because I definitely have to explain to them, because as Christians, when you have Christian parents, like when you listen to them, you're like, this doesn't make sense. But
This
it's the
doesn't
way
make
they've
sense.
grown up.
Yeah.
The way
That's
they've
true.
grown up is how it's like part of their life. They can't live without it. Everything, their life revolves around Christianity. They believe they go to, and I understand the feeling of saying, okay, when you die, you want to, or when you pass away, you want to go to heaven because you are scared of death. And I understand that's a normal human attribute, the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen next, so you try your best to follow something that you feel is right.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's basically, so yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about it.
Yeah.
It's really nice, but
Absolutely.
not a lot of people like allow people to talk about their deconstruction stories. It's more of debates and arguments, and it gets to the point I feel like sometimes you can't just debate on it, because they've made up their mind that they just choose to suspend their brain and use emotion. So yeah, thank you very much, and
absolutely
keep doing what you're doing. Keep debating people and showing them they are dumb.
You got it, man.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
thanks
very
for
much.
coming up,
Yeah,
sir.
bye.
Have a good day.
Bye. You too.
Rock Easy, how are you, friend?
I'm doing well. Trust. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you as well. I tell people all the time when I'm in other lives similar to yours to always give you a follow, always
thank
check
you.
you out, because
so kind of
you're very welcome. Very welcome. Because as I've said before, I'm relatively new in my deconstruction, so a lot of this is a learning process for me, and I consider your lives a classroom. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I think one of the big things for me is, as you see, I ask a lot of questions. And when you do that, you can, because if it's just not making sense, and I start first with the understanding part, and if I don't understand it, I'm just going to keep asking questions. And so I think that's where we kind of get into these conversations where people start to pretzel up, and, we just kind of hit these walls because it just doesn't make sense. They can't tie the loose ends together. And I think that's, for me, is where I start to, cause I'll happily, believe this if it's true. I think anybody would, right? And if it's true, then help me understand why it's true. But that's the problem, is nobody can. So far, nobody has. And here I am.
Well, that's what I said in the comments earlier to the one guest that you and I can't remember the other person you had in the box, but you guys were talking to him. He kept
with Cyber,
like you said,
Cyber was in.
Yeah, Cyber. Yeah, you saw that he kept twisting himself in a pretzel, and I just simply said in the comments, just say you don't know. There's literally no shame in saying you don't know.
Yeah.
And if you just believe because that's you're putting it all in faith, hey, that's fine. But trust is asking, what's your evidence for your faith and what makes this real? Or I don't mean to put your words in your mouth, Trust, but
no, you said it right. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, yeah,
So-
because I mean, it's just kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know if you were here for the first guest, but I was asking him, hey, because he was telling me, well, I have to prove that it's not real, it's not true. And I asked him, okay, well, I have a invisible fire-breathing dragon in my garage, so do you believe me? And
I
he's
saw
like,
that.
Yeah. And then he just completely was trying to dodge it, and for some reason it was different for him. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
what's rules
saw
for thee,
I
not
saw
for
that
me.
and called you exactly. And when I was listening to that, I called you Trust Targaryen.
Trust Targaryen.
So
exactly.
So some of you guys have seen me up here before. I've been on Trust Panel once before, sharing part of my story.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come up again to kind of lay it all out for people who may have doubts of their own, questions of their own, or whatever. But I want to let you guys know I'm going to issue a trigger warning for my part.
No jellyfish, by the way. He's a friendly.
Yes, I am a friendly. I am a friendly. The trigger warning isn't because I'm worried about saying something wrong. I don't want to trigger other people that may be dealing with the same thing I dealt with.
Yeah.
So to start, I remember first going to church around kindergarten. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Saturday visitation, church outings, from the age of around 5 or 6 to consistently to around the age of 16. And then my family moved away from the church that we were going to, and it was just too far to commute back and forth, and we never got back in church. Then in my, I want to say early 30s, I got back in church really strong, going consistently again, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Saturday visitation, and then we start the process all over again the next Sunday. And from that point, I was able to step into the role of being a deacon of the church I was going to. And I was also tasked with teaching a youth Sunday school class and being the youth pastor. So, and I also, whenever our pastor was unable to attend or was at a conference or something like that, I was tasked with giving the message, the sermon that night.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so I lay all of that out so that those of you opposing our view or our atheism, I'm laying that out to let you know that I'm not ignorant to the word. I am very familiar with the subject matter. So, and then later on, close to my 40s, the church we were going to had to close down. And again, I just fell out of church. And we tried, my then wife and I tried to find another church, just never got settled in anything. So again, I'm just laying out that I have a familiarity with the subject matter. Around the age of 10 is when I had my first doubt, my first question. Like you said, Trust, even in my 10-year-old mind, certain things weren't adding up. It's kind of like saying Columbus discovered America when there were already people living here. That doesn't make sense to me. So I asked the question one time in class how that was possible. And I was told to take my desk outside the classroom and sit in the hall. So at 10, though, I was too afraid to ask the questions that I wanted to ask or to seek some sort of clarification or edification from someone that was in a higher position than me. So I went along with everything, but the doubt was still there. I just never asked the questions. I just buried it. So around my mid 40s, I went into a deep depression, one that nearly took me out. And I started to get the help that I needed for that depression and my mental health.
Happy to hear that. Yeah.
And in those therapy sessions, I brought up things like my doubt in God. And here's where the trigger warning comes in. I also began to address my childhood essay. It happened multiple times with multiple people. So as I began to ask these questions and go through this process of confronting and healing, well, the first question that came to my mind was, why would a God that says he loves me and will protect me allow me to go through that?
Yeah, exactly.
And in at least a couple of cases, while I was crying and praying out loud for him to save me from that.
Mm-hmm.
And most people say, well, we have free will. God didn't do that. The perpetrator did. I never said God did it. I said God allowed it to happen.
Right.
And nobody has been able to provide me a sufficient answer for that. And so from there, I started asking more questions and started reading the Bible all over again and reading it from an honest perspective, honest with myself perspective. And the more I read, the more I saw the what this is saying isn't what is being, it isn't my life experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the questions kept coming. And I started out calling myself agnostic. That well, I believe there's a God, but I don't know that what I've been a part of for most of my life is the truth. So I considered myself agnostic. And then the more I continued to read, the more I continued to study and listen to people like yourself who offered intelligent arguments for the atheist, I've leaned more towards that. So now I have no problem saying publicly that I consider myself an agnostic atheist. I'm willing to be convinced, but thus far, no one has been able to do that for
Yeah,
me.
that's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I'm in the same exact position you are. I mean, yeah, you present me with I would probably say, I don't know about you, Ragizi, but I think for me, I think I'm pretty easy to convince. Just as easy as it would be to convince me that someone's mom is alive, right? It'd be so easy to convince me.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be so easy.
And it's just, I didn't even catch some of the contradictions that you talk about in your lives, which, and I'm the type of person, like if I'm on this app and I scroll across some quote unquote news, I don't care what the source is, whether it be a public media source or just a person saying it, I don't care who it is. I go and read behind that to see if what I'm reading is true before I'll comment, before I'll share or whatever, so that I don't look silly. Right. So when you pointed out the contradictions, it forced me to go back and reread some of those scriptures with a different perspective. And I was like, okay, that's even more evidence for my case now of considering myself an agnostic atheist. And so I'm still deconstructing. There's still some times where I'll revert to that quote unquote Christian behavior, and where I still say or do certain things, but I'm slowly coming around on that. My family, all of my family is at least religious. I am the only person in my family that I know of that would take this stance. And so it's hard to navigate certain conversations with them now.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm with you.
So that's been a challenge. That's been a challenge. So that's really all I had to share. I'll be happy to sit up here and listen to the other people on the panel.
Yeah.
If
You're
anybody
stay up.
If
You're
anybody
welcome,
has any
Ragizi.
questions for me, well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer honestly.
Okay. That's fantastic. We'll go to, and hi, Elizabeth. I see you there, but we're going to go to XCZ next because they were in the queue first. So I just brought you all up at the same time. But XCZ, how you doing? Are you deconstructing or agnostic or where are you at?
I am an atheist.
All right. Well, it's
Yes,
good to meet
sir.
you, friend.
Good to meet you, man. Where can I start with my deconstruction? I've been deconstructed for, I want to say, a year or two now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I deconstructed when I more so started to read the Bible, or really question, or more so just questioning it. And I had a lot of family members who believe in it, and I just began to question to myself, like, if Jesus died for my sins, why am I born a sinner? Or if they call him Jesus, but the pronunciation of the letter J didn't come around until 1524 or like the 15th century.
Good one.
You know,
Yeah.
it just never made sense to me to a group of people who believe the world is 2,000 years old. It just never entirely made sense to me. Also, slavery. How can God let slavery go around for 400 years? Allow my people to be enslaved for that long?
Ooh, with you on that one. Yep.
It is insane to me how my people have been so have been so indoctrinated, as well as not even just the religion, but the people who make profit from it.
Yes.
Where my family's from, they're from Belgrade, Florida, and on every corner of the street there is at least a church on every corner. But I see so many churches and not as many banks, grocery stores, etc.
Exactly.
Essentials that people need.
Exactly.
But you know what they can rely on? God. But God is apparently what keeps them in that mindset that it's almost like a prison that they don't want to leave. And I feel like God's love is unconditional, but it's on the condition that I obey him and I fear him with the burden of hell. And I used to be terrified of hell.
Same.
When I was, when I was like 10 or 14, and it just used to run my mind crazy. I was like, oh my goodness, am I really going there for my bad decisions? And it just never entirely made sense to me. And as well as proof, a lot of people's proof that they try to convince me is just the Bible itself. But the way I'm seeing it is it's just a book, and not just that, but other religions say the exact same thing, and it just never entirely made sense. And not just on that account, the amount of people who have perished over the name of Jesus or Muhammad or just that type of topic, it is insane to me. And as well as and then I asked my pastor uncle this question that he never gave me an answer to. I had asked him if the slave and the slave master were praying to the same God whose prayers were being answered. And
that's such a good question. Whoa, that's a good question.
And oh my goodness,
bear trap, didn't you?
He just looked me up and down, and he just sent me to the Bible, and I'm questioning how can the Bible prove to me that God even likes us? He's commanding these people to perish all these other people, and he can't like the same reason that people thank God for a job, or the same way that people thank God that their son or daughter gave them $2,000 or money for their food. It's the same way that I think God needs to protect other people, and then they use the excuse free will. But if free will exists, but he already knows the outcome, what's the point of even believing in him if he's not going to do anything?
You know what's always got me about free will is that we never consider the free will of the victim. It's always the free will of the perpetrator, never the victim. So, I have an essay story too, and I don't ever remember God asking me, what would you like, Trust? Would you like not to be essayed? No, never happened. And, I definitely didn't choose that. I didn't choose any of that stuff. Yeah. Yet it was done anyway. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with you on
very
that.
unfortunate, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Very
very
unfortunate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very bad, and I've been accused of SAs as well, and going through that has traumatized me. Being bullied for that type of stuff through my
Yeah.
high, like I got accused my freshman year of high school, and I stopped getting bullied towards my end of senior year, and going
That's a
through high
long
school.
time, man.
Yeah, and I'm yeah,
So
dude, I'm
sorry.
yeah, I mean it's all good now, but I'm 19 now, and going through that type of stuff has taught me I just can't trust people, because I don't know what anybody's going to say about things that about the things at all. And I'm thinking to myself, why would God allow this to happen? I think this was when I was kind of a lukewarm Christian. I used to be a diehard Christian when I was, I believe, 13 or 14. I would pray, I would read my Bible, I would want to go to church. And then all these type of bad things began to happen to me. Not saying that it should drive someone away from their faith, but I used to question it all the time. And not just that, but when I used to pray or when I used to talk to God before I went to sleep, I never fully I would fully trust that I was talking to him, but but I knew deeply inside that I was always talking to myself.
Yeah.
And it almost gave me a lonely feeling. And it was extremely awkward for me to know deeply down that I was really talking to myself. And I just think, based off of the fact that they called God a he, I just think that shows how masculinity was so superior back then, and in its pure and how against women they are. And I just can't get with those types of morals. And then my friend who's a Catholic, he tried to argue with me that that I don't have good morals. I think that's so strange. I think that's so strange, because number one, if I were to be a religious man now, I would be much more of a godly man than he would ever be in his life. I feed the homeless, I give to charity, I do all these types of things, and he's over here going to parties. Exactly. You don't need a God to be a good person. Matter of fact, I think the fact that they listen to God for morals, his morals are still subjective. That's called
just saying
obedience.
everything. Yep. He's just
that's called obedience to me.
And
I just can't get
summing it all up. XCZ, you just summon everything up. Like you're just tying it up in a nice, neat little bow. Like it's a box of disbelief. It's just all the reasons that are in there, and you're just sorting it nice and neat. Oh yeah.
Yes,
got it tabbed and indexed and everything. You're just, boy.
And then I think I had an experience yesterday. I had some Hebrew Israelites come up and talk to me, try to get me to believe in it, and they believe that Jesus was a black man. I personally, no offense, but I don't even believe Jesus was an actual person. I think that I you can't really prove he existed, just other people saying that he existed, and other people saying that he existed through the Bible that's been rewritten multiple times throughout history, that's been changed throughout multiple times in history. I can't get behind it. And they try to get me to believe in it. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to interpret the Bible? And then they just kind of dodged it, saying, well, that's what I'm saying. God says that he will send a man to help you understand it. And apparently I had someone right there that was trying to convince me, and he was talking all this nonsense, talking about the truth about slavery. And I understand it, and I understand slavery. I'm really into black art, and I understand what it did to my people, and I can't believe in a God that would allow my people to be lynched, to have their babies fed to gators, to have so many modern day uses in today's day and age.
Yeah, it's my
Black
t-shirt.
massacres. Yeah, man. It is insane.
Yeah. Why would God allow something like that to happen?
It is insane, man. And
it is insane.
I can't get behind it, dude. It just never made sense to me.
Like this is
actually,
yeah. That's
free will? Where?
yeah. This is free will. Like all the black people in all these cities, this is their free will. That's what this
It is
was.
insane.
Yeah,
It is insane,
it's
to me,
insane.
brother.
Yeah,
Insane to me,
it's
man.
insane. It's insane.
And
You're absolutely right about that, man. I like to do. I got to tell you, so far, and if you've been watching me for any period of time,
I have. I've been watching for months now.
Okay, well then 2 Samuel is undefeated, totally undefeated. Oh man, that's an impossible bear trap for anybody to get out of. It's just impossible. And I gotta thank the people in the Discord, especially like Athera Ember, for help me hone this to like a sharp instrument. Talking about FRIES, the acronym FRIES for consent. They can't get around it because it is just absolutely devastating to the idea that this God is good, that this God would allow innocent women to be raped by their stepson. It's
absolutely disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And then to say, so for that, that's why I laughed when you were telling me about this Catholic person telling you have no morals. And I'm like, you got, and your God commands rape. I mean,
it is insane, dude. Like
I
just can't get behind it.
Yeah.
And he sent me all these videos about what this infant wrote, Jesus is real, before he passed away. And I'm thinking to myself, how is that evidence of Jesus existing? And I it's just me personally, I just can't get behind it, man. I respect that he believes in it. I got nothing against him, of course. It's just me as a person. Don't try to convince me of your quote unquote false God if you're calling multiple gods false that you can't prove exist. And then you have multiple versions of being a Christian, and they all don't agree on this same thing. It's just, come on, brother.
it just gets worse and worse and worse. It just it's like a sweater with one, like thread that you pull, and you just keep pulling until you get to the point where there's just a big pile of thread at the bottom of your feet. And you have no sweater.
It's just a big mess, man.
It's a mess. Yeah, that's exactly I would say that's the best description of how my belief, my faith unraveled. I just kept pulling that string because I wasn't getting the answers. I kept pulling, and then one day there was just no sweater left, and a big pile of mess on the floor. And I'm like,
exactly.
I can't believe this. This isn't a sweater. This is not a sweater.
It just makes no sense to me. And as far as the creation of Earth and all of this, it's just me personally. I accept quantum fluctuation as a more logical answer. Just
man
me personally.
After my own heart. Look at that. Man. I wish I was as smart as you when I was your age. I mean, I'm 54 now. I wish I was as smart as you because I didn't get out of this belief until, about 14, 15 years ago, somewhere around there. So I was in my 40s when I got out. So imagine being 40 and then figuring out this isn't true. Like, you don't believe this. So you live 40 years of your life. Like you said, you're 19. So man, you are already ahead of the game.
Yeah, man, I just like to do a whole lot of research on this type of stuff, and it just interests me.
And this is why I think Gen Z, man, I think you guys got it going on because of exactly stuff like this, man. You're not holding on to these beliefs like this. And
these Abrahamic and pagan holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very thankful for that. Yeah. So
it's insane to me how pagan holidays are built on pedophilia. It's just disgusting to me. Like how the mascot for Valentine's Day is a naked infant shooting arrows at people to fall in love. I can't get behind that, dude.
Can't get behind it at all. Exactly. Just can't. And yeah. And you know what? We're on the way. I mean, here's the thing. Like people like try to accuse me, hey, you're doing this for money. Yeah, true. I'm doing this for money now, right? Because I'm getting money. But the other part of it, I mean, hey, but the other part of it is that if I go out of business because nobody believes in this anymore, that will be the happiest day for me. Not gonna lie. I would not be
Yes, sir.
sad at all. I'd be like, yeah, okay, my work is done here. So
I full on respect it, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Holy Ghost of Katie, good to see you. So
Nothing but respect, bro.
Yeah, man. So I thank you for the support, and I'm thankful that I'm able to provide you with value. I'm glad you're enjoying my content and all that stuff. So
Dude, I love your content. Each time you go live, I'm always there, and I'm just here doing homework or playing games. I'm just listening to you, man. So yeah, man, I appreciate you.
That's just wow. That's it's very humbling. So I appreciate, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're welcome to stay up too if you want. If anyone wants to ask you questions or anything, or you can drop whatever you want to do.
I'll be on mute. Sure, why not?
Sure. Yeah. And you can drop anytime. But unless if there's anything else, then I was going to move on to Elizabeth. If you don't have anything else.
No. Of course, go ahead.
Okay. Elizabeth, how you doing, friend?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
Doing well. And I'm so happy to hear of what you said in the Discord about like your progress with like your medical diagnoses and all that stuff. I'm so happy to hear that. So happy for you.
Yeah, it was a good doctor's visit. It really was. It was a good. They actually gave me some hope this weekend, which was really, really good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
It was nice. So it's interesting. So I realized when you said, share, I had a couple things. I had a question and I was going to share because I kind of had both. Because I've actually never really shared my story. So I'm a pastor's daughter that grew up all in the church and grew up with it my whole life. Went to college to be a worship pastor. That's what I said that I was going to do my entire life, and it's what I just knew I was bound and determined. It was prophesied over me that that's what my entire life was about, and everything about me was that. I was totally into the Pentecostal and the speaking in tongues and the laying on of hands and the everything that was in the craziness and all of that. And my life was to be nothing more than to give it to God and to be a wife and to be a mother. That's all that I was supposed to be. So I only went to college. I did not go to an accredited school. I went to one of the schools that was nothing but, we're going to teach you the word of God the way that we believe it. And we're going to teach you how to preach what we preach, which meant I did not learn any college level stuff. I just learned their version of God. And that was it. And I spent a lot of money to do it.
Wow, so cultish.
Very cultish. Yeah, very, very cultish. Such a cult. And the only thing good that came out of it is they did offer me piano training and vocal training. So I did at least get, those trainings out of it.
Okay, so when we do the karaoke night, you're on. I got to hear that. I got to hear that sweet voice.
That is the only thing good I got out of that was that. But other than that, like there was nothing good that came out of it. And
and by the way, chat, I'm sorry to interrupt, but by the way, chat, I know a while ago I was talking about trying to get together a karaoke night. I have not forgotten. So I just want you all to know I'm still working on it, but we're going to try and do this. So yeah, thank you for your patience. All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
No, we'll make karaoke happen.
We're going to do it some way, somehow.
I came back and I got married to the first husband who decided on the way home from the honeymoon that my decision was done the wrong way, and that got me the first slap across the face. And that was the first of many, and was 2 years of
sorry.
And trigger warning for those, and I should have said that first. Sorry, guys. That was the first of many of hiding bruises and of having to learn makeup tricks and learn to do what I could. And I was told basically that I could not talk to my family, that I could not do anything that I was allowed to do, and all the verses in the Bible were used against me.
Of course.
That
Husbands
a
submit to
wife
your
should have to
wives.
submit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that was thrown in my face, and I was told that I wasn't allowed to get a divorce, that, he hadn't cheated on me, therefore I was not allowed to get a divorce, because that was the only viable reason for a divorce. And it was for 2 years I believed every bit of it. And it wasn't until my parents intervened 2 years in that I could get out. And I left with $100, my cat, and my car. And I got out, and it nearly broke me. It drove me to the point of unaliving, and drove me right to the edge. My parents did everything they could to keep me alive. And it was therapy and a lot of healing. And I end up getting married again a second time not long thereafter, and the only difference was that he would hit the wall beside my head and say, "But I didn't hit you."
That doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I stayed in that marriage for 9 years. And because I thought he was right, he wasn't hitting me. And I thought, and when I would get into counseling sessions with the pastor at the church, he would tell me, "Well, have you let him be the man of the house? Have you let him lead? Have you," and I would be counseled on, how have you allowed him to be, the pastor that he needs to be, and the head that he needs to be. And I would be directed through all of this. All the while I am leading worship on a stage, and I am doing all of this, and I am mentally falling apart, and I don't know what to do, and I am losing it, and I am trying everything to hold my life together. And I finally, in 2020, after he abandons me in the middle of brain surgery, I have a chronic illness that we discover in 2018. In 2020, I'm in the middle of my third brain surgery, and he abandons me and basically leaves me to fend for myself. And so I kick him out, and I tell him to leave. I find, as my best friend says, I find my fuck you, and I tell him to leave. And the church started to kind of turn their back on me. They're like, "Well, we don't understand why you did that, and we don't understand what was going on."
You don't understand?
And I'm just like, it didn't make any sense to me at all. But they kind of were like, "But you're fine, you can stay. But you have to act right. You have to do things right." And
it was your fault. Oh, well, how dare you,
it was
Elizabeth?
absolutely
how
my
dare
fault.
You? How dare you?
Yeah.
Having brain surgery and then being upset that he abandoned you. That was, I can see that. Totally your fault. Wow.
Totally my fault.
Totally
I was totally on guard and put on probation with the team. They watched everything that I did. I did end up, during that time was when I relapsed with my alcoholism, and that really put me on probation, which was a big deal. And then, which was a 1-day relapse. I mean, I literally relapsed for 1 day and then was back in the rooms of AA.
Wow.
And I end up, after 4 months sober, my sponsor looks at me and says, "You need help, and you need more help than we can give. I want you to go to the mental health hospital." And that's where they diagnosed me with bipolar. And that's when the church turned their back on me.
And then that's
And
when
they
cut you
said,
off.
"We want nothing to do with you, because we can't handle you." And they kicked me off of the praise team. And I was like, "Well, I don't know what to do anymore, because, that." And so I said, "Well, fuck you." And I walked away. And I was like, "You can keep the piano, I'm done." And I left. Because they were like, "Well, we want to do you on probation. you can come back in, but you're going to have to take 6 months off. You're going to have to do this. And I was like, I'm not playing the games. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not playing your games. I'm done. I'm walking away. And I literally just walked away and turned my back. That was the start of my deconstruction, was walking away from that.
Now, let me ask you, Elizabeth, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me ask
you're
you,
fine.
what part of that, like, how did that, like, you know, start the deconstruction to, like, how did you get to, you know, maybe this God isn't real after all?
So what that did was it opened up an ability to say, if all of this happened, then what actually have I been believing?
What was all this
Because
for?
I have been doing all of this because I've been assuming all of this is real. And so I started actually reading things, not because someone told me I should read it, but I started reading it critically as what's the word? I started reading it as a book. Yeah, as a book, and not as not as a fairy tale. I started reading it as a book. And when you read it as actual scholarly book, then the contradictions just pop out of the page. And it's impossible not to.
Exactly. You just can't unsee it. Yeah. You can't unsee it.
The slavery just comes out.
Yeah.
And it starts to, and
I gotta say, that's probably the phrase of the day. The slavery just comes out.
The slavery just
You're so
comes
right,
out.
though. You're so right.
Like, everybody tells me just follow the 10 Commandments, and I'm like, but the 10 Commandments tell me to convert slaves. Like, they tell me to enslave people.
Yeah.
Like, I can't follow the 10 Commandments without having slaves. Like, I can't do it.
Can't do it. Exactly.
Like, I mean, something that simple. I can't follow the 10 Commandments without having slaves. Like, and I got to that simple of point. And then I started looking at the facts, like, with my chronic illness, with all the pain and suffering that I've gone through in my life, God was giving people parking spaces, but he wasn't healing me. And I had done everything. I had called on the elders of the church. I had been anointed with oil. I had let them pray over me. I had gone up front. I had cried on my knees. I had begged for forgiveness. I had done everything that scripture had demanded that I do.
Yeah.
And nothing had happened.
Nothing happened. And also it says in scripture, if you ask for it, and all you need just but
a mustard seed of
the
faith.
Size of a mustard seed. Yeah. And and it sounds like you had way more than that. And
I had a ton of faith.
Nothing
had
that
happened.
Yep.
And I was just like, I can't, there's a disconnect here. And I started seeing disconnects. And as I started seeing disconnects, I was like, wait, what is this? And then I got on TikTok. And when I got on TikTok, that's when I really deconstructed. Because I started seeing lives. And the first person I saw was Justin with Deconstruction Zone. And I started watching his lives. And I was like, wait. And then I started seeing Joel and Mezzo. And I jumped onto their lives. And then I jumped onto your lives, and I started seeing your lives, and I started seeing everybody's lives, and I started watching. And the more I learned, the more it just became, there's nothing there. I was like, the more I study, oh my gosh, there's just nothing there. There's more lies than anything else. And so I watch now to gain power. Like, the knowledge you guys gives me the power, because I still run into people from those churches. Like, I still, as I'm going around town, run into those old people, and you guys give me the power so that if I run into them, I can bring up 2 Samuel 11 and be like, yeah, but what about what they did to David and David's wives? And what about this? And, you know, what about when it says that you should stone an unruly child, and the fact that Jesus actually condemned the Pharisees for not upholding that law. What about that? Because you can't say it's just Old Testament. Jesus actually condemned them for not doing it. So what about this? You know, I can actually bring those things up and point those out and can really have power to do that now and not feel scared to run against them.
And just for those in chat, just one real quick, just for those in chat who are asking, where does it say in the 10 Commandments about slavery? It is Commandment 10. And so this has been like a whitewashed commandment because it just basically says covet your neighbor's wife, but there's more to it. Covet your neighbor's wife, male or female slave, ox, donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. So there it is, plain as day. So it clearly talks about slavery in one of the 10 Commandments. And now you can say, well, that doesn't mean it allows slavery. Wait, Siege Slapper, are you a doubter? Are you in doubt?
The 10th commandment is kind of debate. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
the second Samuel 11 is about David and his affair with a woman. So I don't know.
Right. 2 Samuel 12. Well, let me ask you, are you doubting your faith, your belief? I know you've been on my live a few times, but have we gotten through to you? No? Okay.
No,
well,
it's just the main thing for me is just like the evolution in abiogenesis just has a lot of holes in the system.
Okay.
So
Well, hey, this is time for like people who are deconstructing, but hey, come back another day when I'm talking about that to believers.
for sure, yeah. I don't know. I just don't understand, Trust, how you think like complex DNA just randomly spawned out of nowhere.
Okay. Well, we can talk more about that tomorrow. How about that?
For sure.
Okay. See you.
All right, brother. Good seeing you.
See ya. All right. So, but on that note, and the reason being is because, just to quickly answer his question, the reason being that I don't believe that, that these things spawn. I mean, if you're a Christian, you have to believe that something came from nothing. See, that's just the funny part. It's like projection, right? They accuse non-believers of believing that, but I think for the most part, most of us just either don't care or don't know and don't care. But for those who maybe, I don't know of any non-believer that thinks that something came from nothing, but talk to a Christian and all of them believe that.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. So.
Hey, I'm not going to be on long. My dad's dying. So,
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a weird situation. I just wanted to get up. I haven't been on anything all day. I've been packing and trying to get things on the train. And of course, at a time, I would love to share my deconstruction story because I have quite the story. I mean, you're the one that got me to deconstruct and my son. Mm-hmm. It's just, God, all I have to say is just always question everything. That's what you taught me, is to always question everything.
Yeah, just trust but verify.
Yeah.
And I got that from a therapist. That's where my name originates from, because a therapist once told me that. Trust but verify. And it's always good to question everything, but to a point where you don't be skeptical of every single little thing. And then, there has to be within reason, right? And I think that's the thing, is we're doing healthy reasoning about God, and it's just not adding up.
Yeah. And I made one video early this morning, but I'm not in the mood to listen to Christians say, oh, well, there's a purpose, there's a plan. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Yeah. He's 83 years old. I know he's going to die. Like, I mean, we don't live forever. And of course, I don't think, and I know you've talking about your dad dying of cancer, Trust. Mm-hmm. We're not prepared to Oh,
yeah, never prepared for this. Yeah, I agree.
It's just, no matter how old it is, whether it's young or old, it's just really weird.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to be on TikTok for the next couple of days trying to figure this out. It's like, I lost my mom at 6. My dad didn't want anything to do with me. I'm still trying to understand, why the fuck am I going home? I have no idea. Like, people say it's out of respect, but he never respected me. He never respected. So
yeah,
it's weird. But I think the one thing I am doing is getting the shit out of his house. Because I know that's going to be the next thing that goes. But it's just, you only live for so long, and stop fighting over shit that doesn't need to be fought over about. And that's like what happened with my dad. Like, he didn't give a shit. It was always, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. I'm never wrong.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
but
I hear that. Well, I
didn't want to put it.
Give you permission to self-care.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So if it's absolutely, if you need to not go or check out, I think you're a grown fucking woman. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tylee's been checking in on me a lot because she's really worried. Which,
and you know what? Your dad doesn't give a shit. If after he's gone, he won't give a shit. So he's not going to care at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just two parents that were supposed to love and care for me. Where were they?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you hear these Christians that say, oh, well, God had plans for them. No, I don't even give a fuck about the deity right now, because fucking deity doesn't exist to me. I don't care about his love. I don't care about compassion. I care about compassion from people. So I give a fuck. Like, be good to each other.
And we have a super chat. Hugs, 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 hugs. Lots of hugs for you. So there you go.
I love that.
And I totally agree. Lots of hugs for you. I think that it's very important, for self-care, and and I think that's the other thing is I realize that I could choose whom to be around and the people to be around me. Like, I can surround myself with people that
And you showed me when I started getting on these lives that the true meaning of caring for somebody else is. I mean, you sat with me through the fucking worst of my shit, and then brought all these wonderful friends, and like, I mean, I don't know what the hell it was, like, because when I was a believer, that's all my FYP feed was. But somehow that one person, and that was you were the only one, the agnostic atheist. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? So I'm waiting a couple of days, and I listen, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta be brave enough, and I gotta start, like, maybe I should ask, because the religious people told me never to question anything. And I wanted to be secretive about it. And I'm like, well, they'll never know. I'm at my house. And it just took one question or one conversation with you to say, I need to have more conversations. And, because you took it to the point where you broke everything down. You weren't rational. You weren't authoritarianism. Like, you weren't any of that. You were just kind enough to say, this is the answer that I fucking have. And it was breaking it down third grade style and just being compassionate about it. And that's why I think...
Yeah, I remember asking you questions too. That's what I do to everybody. Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, that's why I look to you as a dad, I mean, you've been there for me so often, and I might have driven you fucking crazy, but, I thank you for everything.
Well, hey, I'm just glad that you've gotten the support, and were able to surround yourself with good people. And I know that a lot of people in this live, and a couple people on this guest panel have gotten to know you, and have interacted with you and all that stuff. So we're just happy that you're here.
And then, you not only Phoebe saved my life, but you saved my life.
Yeah. And I'm just, like I said, happy that you're here.
Yeah.
So.
And you do it all over again and again and again.
Well, good. I'm happy to hear that.
I second what Trust said. I am extremely glad you're here.
All right, my friend, how are you? So good
I'm
to see
good.
you. And Elizabeth, it's so good to see Elizabeth.
We are all glad you're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're definitely glad you're here.
Yeah, we definitely are. And, you know, it's interesting because, I mean, I started this whole thing alone, right? I was just, you know, I go live by myself and, you know, because I was just here to, I didn't think much about joining a community. I didn't know there was really a community on TikTok. I thought it was just a whole bunch of like creators just doing their thing, right? And then having just discovered this community and, you know, just being a part of it, I'm just really grateful for that, you know? Because it's not only, I mean, everyone is, you know, saying I've shown them, but you guys have shown me a lot of things too. You know, and I get like the DMs I get from folks in the community saying, hey, you know, you could have said it like this. Oh man, I'm so appreciative of those. And then the questions and just the support and all that stuff. You know, you guys come to my live every day and just listen to me. Oh man, I'm just like, boy, people just listen to me. I was like, I didn't know I was saying anything that interesting.
All the time, man. All the time.
That's
every day.
That's just wild. That's wild to me. But I'm grateful for that. And I'm just like, just keep thinking to myself, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just extremely grateful, and I'm just gonna stay very, very humble and just keep doing what I'm doing. You know, I'm not gonna mess with the formula at all. Just keep doing what I'm doing because you all are here. And but yeah, and so I consider us all in this together. You know, this isn't you watching me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all in this together because, you know, yeah, I could probably just say all these things that I'm saying with no audience. Yeah, I could do that. But no, man, you guys make this such a great adventure. You guys, every 108 of you on TikTok, and how many of you are on YouTube? 47 of you. So 155 people make this a great adventure. And you all make this worth doing. So thank you. I just appreciate you all, every single one of you. You know, even the ones who think that I'm going to go burn in hell forever. I still appreciate you because you're here listening. You know?
Well, those that threaten, if they read their book, it says in Matthew 5:20 that self-righteous people don't enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. So we'll be sharing hell right along with them.
True. And so the super chat from Alexander Hurst, thank you for the two pounds. Is that what that is? Or €2? £2. And thank you for the community. Yeah. And you're very welcome. And thank you because you're part of this community. So, you know, so when I say you're my people, that means we're all part of this community. So, and thank you, Gigi. Thank you. So it just, you know, I'm just very, very grateful for you all. And, but yeah, you know what? And, you know, folks, the conversations continue in my Discord. So, you know, so if you're on Discord, it's free to join. You're welcome to join. And, you know, you'll find the link in my bio. Just as Ember said earlier, you'll find it in my bio. So love to have you guys there, and everybody's welcome. However, we got some rules, you know, some easy to follow rules, just to kind of keep things safe and civil. But as long as you guys follow the rules, it's all good. It's all good. So would love to have you all there, and then we can continue these conversations, these discussions. But yeah. Now somebody said that they had a question. I can't remember who it was. Was it you, Elizabeth?
It was me.
Okay. Yeah. What was your question?
How have you been able to replace the aspect of prayer? Like the aspect of things go wrong in life and you need to be able to, and I'll give you an example. My dad this weekend basically had a nervous breakdown. He called me and was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to run my car off a bridge. I'm going to do all these things. And I was like, whoa, calm down, stop. You can't do that. And he's 12 hours away. It's not like I can go get to him.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to, able to send love his way. I want to be able to, And my first instinct inside is you need to pray for him. But I don't believe in God. I don't believe in what have you replaced that with? What does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And I think you guys have heard, everybody here has heard me use this phrase many, many times. I control the process, not the outcome, right? And I kind of picked that up from when I was just, I was certifying myself as a mediator, but also in a way I got it from the 12-step program too, because, as you've said, Elizabeth, you're in the 12-step program. It does talk about, serenity, right? And the serenity prayer. And one of the things about that is I focus a lot on the process, meaning I have to let the outcome go. So whatever happens, I do everything within my power, within my control. And it's just being able to to understand that. Just things outside of my control, I have to be okay with letting those things happen. And that's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. It's simple, but not easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. And I think, though, that with things like that, I also do my best to do the right thing, because people have come to me in times of crisis, and it's been people who are, long distance, who are far away, and had to come to me in times of crisis. And I've had to make decisions in which I would say, okay, well, if there's someone who is talking about self-harm, and by the way, if you're considering self-harm or know somebody who's considering self-harm, call 988. Absolutely critical. Could be a lifesaver. And I had to make the decision to say, okay, well, I'm going to just treat this as a credible threat, or, something as a credible risk. And I'm going to take the measures to contact people to make sure this person is safe. And I think that's because that's everything I can do within the process, right? That's the process I control. What happens outside of that, I can then safely say, I've done everything that I could do within my power. And then I just, hope for the best outcome. And I will tell you, Elizabeth, since having this mentality, I can tell you it's worked far more often than any prayer that I've ever prayed or anyone has ever prayed for me. I can tell you that.
I can vouch for that.
Hands down. It works far better. So for anyone who says that they, prayer works or anything like that, like, okay, well, I think we're all, and this is the beautiful thing, you're all intelligent people. This is the thing about the deconstruction community, all intelligent people. Like KC, man, you were just waxing intelligence there, like just hitting us with it, right? Intelligence bombs. And that's the thing. We are all intelligent people. And so we can come up with the facts and the figures and the research about prayer doesn't work and this and that, or it's just a coin flip at best. But at the end of the day, it is, okay, we understand that intellectually, but then, getting past that emotional barrier. And for me, it was just okay, I am doing the best that I can. I'm doing what I know to be the right thing, and that is good enough. So I think it just comes down to acceptance at the end of the day.
I was just about to say that too. I think accepting an outcome is far more, or at least in some cases, it's far more comforting rather than just trying to think more about it and pray about it. In my opinion,
this young man is so wise beyond his years, man. This is amazing. And yeah, you are, man. This is amazing. And so I'm just happy for that. And and the acceptance also, the other thing I had to understand, just one more piece to that, is acceptance doesn't mean we like the outcome. It just means that we are okay with it happening. That, acceptance is that it's going to happen. And I got to be okay with that. But that doesn't mean we have to like it. It doesn't mean we have no emotion. We can be upset. We can be sad. We can be angry, whatever. But it's just that, okay, but it's going to happen. Whatever happens, happens.
It's the radical acceptance they talk about in therapy.
Radical acceptance, exactly. Yeah. But again, easier said than done. So, but I'm with you, Elizabeth. Easier said than done.
So it's a big learning curve.
It is. It is. But I would rather sit in uncomfortable disappointment than blissful ignorance any day.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
100%. And it's a scary proposition about and I think this is what we're all struggling with, is what's going to happen after we die, the unknown, the fear of the unknown.
Mhm.
I think we're all struggling with that. And as I was, okay, you guys all know what happened to me on Friday. I went in for my colonoscopy, and it was all great, by the way. But the big thing I want to stop talking about my colon for a while. But the big thing I want to say is yeah, right. I don't want to talk about my colon this much, but it was going under anesthesia, just being like 1 minute I was awake, and then the next minute I was out, and then I was awake again, and I had lost this chunk of time where nothing happened, and I didn't have any dreams, I didn't have anything, and I was just awake again, but I was just out. I was just out. My brain was asleep. And I just think about, for 90% of us, I mean, this is if you look at hospice statistics and all that, for 90% of us, that's how dying is going to be. It's just going to be pretty peaceful. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is what dying is like. I'm okay with it, because I just drift off, and then that's it. I mean, I can't.
Okay, if I say something.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've actually experienced that type of stuff before. I had a bad night where I drank too much and my heart stopped beating. And it was really bad. They had to connect all these magnetic things to my body, and they had to revive me. But it was almost like falling asleep. It felt extremely peaceful. It was one moment I was up, the next I was in the hospital. And they were trying to explain to me that my heart basically had to be reset. And I was like, dang, I don't remember nothing. It just went black. And I found so much comfort in that, knowing that I will feel absolutely nothing. I had no clue that I was even out. And I told my Catholic friend about it. And he was expecting all this. I saw God and all this type of stuff, and I'm like, you know what I saw? Nothing. It was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And I just found so much comfort in knowing that when I do pass away, I'm not even going to be aware that it even happened. And of course I'm passed away, so I'm not really going to care. But I just think the concept of death, to me, is not as terrifying as people perceive it to be. Yeah. I accept it. I just think that's one thing that I'm very grateful that we all experience is birth and death. I mean, yeah, that's kind of it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, 3 pips. Same when your heart stopped, there was nothing. And I think Forever Atheist has said the same thing. And so yeah, it's, and I won't out and out say there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm just saying, if it's like that, I'm good. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah.
Good. I personally have found more comfort in acknowledging that there is no afterlife than I ever found in there being an afterlife.
100%. Yes.
Because there was this constant struggle, this constant inner battle of, am I doing this right? Am I, living per the word? And there's a really bad guilt associated with that. And now that I've embraced the reality that there is no afterlife, this is what we have, I've got so much peace in that. And I have mentioned that to some friends, and they say I'm morbid. They say that I have this unaliving wish, and it's nothing like that.
I don't like that. But they do look at you sideways, huh? Like you're crazy. Like,
yeah. What? Because I too have experienced the how can I say this? The I won't say pleasure, but the comfort of the colon nap. Yeah, same thing, Trust. I was there. The lady was, when they were administering the anesthesia, she told me just count backwards to 3 and you're going to fall asleep or something like that. And I was like, 1, 2, I was gone. And then I woke up and it's like this time had passed. I had to ask my son how much time had passed. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to chime in with there. I have found way more comfort in accepting that at the end of this life, that's exactly what it is, just the end.
And Slice 78 says in the chat, clinically dead in 2020 for an unknown time, never saw God or Jesus or anything religious. And that's the thing. So then what we can say then, I'm going to start using this. Next time somebody in the NDE comes in, I'm going to start saying that. Well, we've had plenty of people in chat who didn't experience anything. So that's evidence that no God exists, right? And just let the short happen. Yeah. The cognitive dissonance set in. And, because, then we can just use the exact same evidence as you. That means no God.
I might have experienced dog way, but
right? Exactly. So I think that's, I mean, because there's just time and again, there's just multiple people that haven't felt anything, haven't experienced anything. And then, what about those people if there is a God? How come they didn't see anything? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, So
Truth, you said something earlier that absolutely resonates with me, talking about pulling at strings. That's often how I explain the beginning of my deconstruction. Like I told you guys earlier, I've always had some level of doubt, some question in my mind from the very beginning. But once I got to confronting certain traumas in my life, I started pulling at those strings. And it's like you said, it's a never-ending pull. And then at the end of that, there's just this big mess of yarn on the floor.
Exactly.
So that completely resonates with me. I completely understand that analogy.
And there's just nothing at the end of the string, like nothing. And you're just like, okay. And it can be, for me, it was like, wow, I guess there's nothing here. I mean, I kind of just got to this end where there's just nothing here. And I can understand if, when people get to the end of that string or that thread where they would be upset, right? And it would be hard to accept. I totally get that. And and I think that's part of the deconstruction process too. And then we also have to remember, this is a grieving process too. And I had to grieve. And we can't forget that. And it's okay to grieve. It's okay to cry for the loss of your belief, because for some people, this God was their best friend, was something that was a source of comfort. And so and we can, just because it seems like maybe you have also these thoughts of, oh, this was so silly and this and that, you know what? That doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt realizing that this isn't true, that you don't believe it, and it's okay.
Yeah, it absolutely hurts because for a lot of us, that's all we've ever known. So we're shedding an entire identity of ourselves and picking up this whole different aspect of life, and it really is emotional. It's a difficult experience. I'll say that.
Difficult. It is truly. So, okay, well, I got to go, but I'm going to end it here. So I brought up Ethereal Ember, one of our most esteemed mods. So I just wanted to, give thanks to our mods, and also the ones in YouTube as well. So follows, and for everybody up here in the guest panel, if everybody follow, and if you haven't given any gifts and you have it, if you got a coin or two to spare, please, give some gifts to the folks up here because they definitely deserve. They're part of our community and all that stuff. But I'm going to be having more of these type of lives, in the future where we talk about deconstruction. I think it's important to do. And people have been asking me to do it. So I figured, you know what, today is a good day to do that. We're going to do that today. So I just, because I know there's a lot of people watching out in the hallway, You know, you're watching me in the hallway and, you know, you don't want to come into the chat, which is cool. You don't want to come up on the guest panel, which is cool. But I'm hoping that we, you know, you hearing these other people like you, if you're having doubts, I hope that this helped you. You know, that's what this is for, you know, because we definitely don't, you know, I'm not here to rip anyone's belief away and then just leave them just kind of flailing, right? You know, so to that end, also, if you're in the hallway and you're having doubts, you know, I got a whole deconstruction section in my Discord where you can get resources and, you know, and if you're in a tough space, and that includes anybody, you know, come on into the Discord and just yell in the Discord, hey man, I need some love. I need some support here. I'm going through a tough time. And folks will run to you and give you some love. So you actually needed this today. That's fantastic to hear. And we have one other super chat. Very good wizard. Thank you. And yeah, absolutely. You're most welcome. So, so any parting shots, anybody, before we go look for another live to raid?
I wish everybody peace and love, man. I mean, hope everybody is very successful in whatever they're pursuing. Hope everybody just becomes happy, really. I think that should be the ultimate goal.
I am with you 100%. With you 100%. Okay, so does anyone know, because I know Zach is on live right now. However, I don't know if Zach is doing the voice thing or if he's doing the deconstruction thing. So not sure. Does anyone know, or can anyone go find out real quick? Because I'm thinking if Zach's doing a deconstruction thing, we can go raid Zach. Maybe somebody can do a little recon for us and we can find out. Because Zach Lazar Hoffman, another fantastic deconstruction story, by the way. So if anyone ever like sticks around, you know, if you ever have a chance to talk to Zach, you should really ask him about his deconstruction. And I think he's still kind of going through it too. Like he's still right in the middle of it, but
the description says voice acting. So I'm guessing he's probably,
he's doing the voice acting.
Doing
okay.
the voice acting one.
Yeah. Okay. Not that, you know, it's only because if we all go in there, not Zach, Z-A-C-K, Egg Warrior, not Zach, sorry. It's okay if he's doing voice, and not that we don't support the voice stuff, but you know, we're not really like, we're not his audience, you know, in a way. So, and he's probably doing it for like, you know, he's getting his business on. So I don't want to mess that up. However, Radio Spencer is on. So, and he's kind of the other case in which he sometimes does politics and then he sometimes does religion. So I can't see because I'm in the live right now, but I'm in this live, but can somebody go a little recon and see what he's doing? See if we can find out and see what he's doing, because Spencer is another great one to watch. He's great. But if he's doing his deconstruction stuff, yeah, we can go raid Spencer. And then I have a third option if he's not. And I know this third option is doing deconstruction stuff. And he's a other fantastic part of the community, so we could give him support as well. And Mrs. Verify has given me the wrap it up signal. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just go over to the resurrected skeptic? Oh, his prompt is why the need for God? Okay. We'll do Radio Spencer then. The next time we'll do Resurrected Skeptic, I promise. We're going to do Resurrected Skeptic the next time. He's going to be the next raid, but today we'll do Radio Spencer. All right. So everybody just type in Radio Spencer in your search and we'll just go raid his live. Unfortunately, I don't think he's on YouTube. So folks in YouTube, unfortunately, I got nothing for you. But unless you want to fly over to TikTok and we can all raid Radio Spencer together. But this will probably give him the onus to do it as well. So last thing, yeah. So we're going to raid Radio Spencer, TVV raid. Just say it in the chat. But thank you guys. You guys have been fantastic. This was a lot of fun. So yes, I will be doing more deconstruction segments in the future. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow.
You too, brother.
See you in
Goodbye.
Specials Live. Bye, guys.
Yeah.